Hey, Pardon My Take listeners, you can find every episode on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. On today's Pardon My Take, we have Warren Sharp preview. NFL football is back. It is back this week. We are officially in week 1, so we preview the 2020 NFL season. Get excited. We'll do our picks and our preview and our predictions on Thursday's show. Fair? I think that's when we should do it. We have Friday show.
On Thursday night.
Thursday, before the actual kickoff. But we will do all of our picks and predictions that will undoubtedly be stupid and terrible and hilariously bad, except for like one each that we didn't stick to. Mm-hmm. We're going to do that for Friday's show. But we have Warren Sharp to break down the season coming up. We also have Blake Anderson, hilarious comedian, actor. You know him from Workaholics. He's got a new show out. He also might be our newest toy when it comes to Blake of the Year. We got now a 4-pack. I talked to one of the Blakes and he said bring it on. So we'll see if they're up for the challenge.
That sounds like Blake Griffin said that.
Nope. The chillest of the Blakes right now.
Bortles.
No. Koepka. I think Koepka just doesn't. He'll get challenged by anyone.
I love it.
He'll just be like, fuck it, I don't care. All right, and then we have a little football, a little basketball, who's back of the week, and my GOAT, Djokovic, and a little hot water. Let's do all that. Before we get to that, though, we're brought to you by the Cash App, our friends at the Cash App. We're in the Cash App studio. The Cash App is the #1 social distancing app in the world. Don't be an idiot. Don't be going hand-to-hand cash handing out right now. Make sure you're using the Cash App. Also, I mentioned it, but it is fantasy football season. I still have a draft left to do. People are getting those drafts in right before Thursday night. Make sure you send your money to your commissioner. Don't be the idiot who doesn't pay until the end of the year. Everyone hates that guy. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Tommy. Fucking hate that guy. So go download the Cash App right now. Enter the referral code Barstool. You get $10 for free. $10 to ASPCA. It links directly to your bank account. It's super easy to use. Download the Cash App from the App Store, Google Play Store today and get involved with the Cash App. Okay, let's go.
It's Pardon My Take, presented by Barstool Sports.
Welcome to Pardon My Take, presented by the Cash App. Go download it right now. Use code Barstool. You get $10 for free. $10 to ASPCA. Today is Tuesday, September 8th. Well, I once did a Doobie with the Doobie brothers after a concert in Athens, Ohio.
Peter King,
known Doobie user.
Bad boy.
I wanted to start when football is back, but
no.
When Peter King admits to the internet that he once did a Doobie, that leads the show.
With the Doobie brothers. That is the most Peter King stat ever. Yeah, it's like if you meet Bruce Springsteen and he asks you to put on a leather vest, you do it. If you meet the Doobie brothers and ask you to burn down a bone, you got to. You know what? Peter King, in solidarity with the NFL and their long stance on drug abuse, were rebanning you from the show. We will not have a drug user on this show, Peter King. I'm sorry, you're suspended.
I want to give Peter King credit because if I had guessed how he would explain once doing drugs, I would have been like, oh yeah, Peter King, I once smoked a J or smoked some grass. You outdid yourself, Peter King, saying I once did a Doobie. Mm-hmm. Even I didn't think you had that level of lame in you.
So I think that, yeah, if you're power ranking what you would imagine Peter King to like call weed, it would probably be either grass or maybe like wacky tobacco.
Yeah.
I could see him saying a jazz cigarette too. Yeah. Like something real old and out of touch.
Plus 6,000 for Kush.
Yeah.
Like imagine if Peter King was like, I had some white rhino back in my college days.
So
ghost dog.
So some horny goat weed that I sucked out. I did read
the purple Kush.
I did read Peter's season preview today.
Okay.
And it made me sick because Peter King, he is physically incapable of putting his neck on the line for a take.
No.
So, like, everything that he says is like, I think that this quasi-weirdish nugget could maybe happen.
Right.
It'd be really weird, maybe. And his, like, big takes are, I think the Bucks are going to be good.
Do you have a Peter King?
That's his Peter King. That is the Peter King. You know, I just think the Bucks are going to be good this year. I love you too.
That's a John Gruden.
I love you too.
That's the Gruden brother. That's the doctor.
Well, no,
that's what you just did.
And that is Peter King, because I think that Peter King is from Ohio. I know that he went to college there.
Yeah, that's the Gruden. Yeah, you just did the Gruden doctor brother. All right, so football is back, though. It is week 1. We're going to get to a preview with Warren Sharp. We'll have our predictions, like I said, on Friday's show. We did have college football this weekend. We also had the like real football is back was Army going 19 plays, 99 yards, 12 minutes and 26 seconds off the clock.
I love it. They can't score if they don't have the ball.
99 yards, 19 plays. That was like, oh man, this feels good. And I know everything is weird. It was definitely weird to have the first Labor Day where it's like I wasn't just sitting on my couch all Saturday watching football. But it's slowly but surely, it feels like we're going to get football all the way back. And how are you feel like status check? I feel like it's just a regular week. Thursday morning, I will wake up out of my mind excited.
Right.
But right now I'm like, okay, it's kind of happening. I think it's going to happen. We're going to get there.
It's because we didn't get a preview. We didn't get a preseason, which you would think that's like what warms you up. That's what gets your football brain going. Right now, there's so many players that switch teams in the offseason that I totally forgot about, like Ted Ginn being on the Bears. Forgot about that until like last week. But what we were talking about earlier was like we're just getting fucked. Like there's no foreplay. Like the NFL, Roger Goodell hasn't gone down on me yet. I'm dry over here.
He did end racism,
and
he
did.
I think if you saw over the weekend, was that over the weekend?
That was like last weekend.
Oh, already
when he put that in the end. I was
so
wet.
Did Coach O.
I was wet last week.
Yeah.
But right now it's like I'm all dried up. But Thursday morning, I'm just going to be legs over my head on my back, just getting
ready
straight
to
up
go.
fucked by the
ready
NFL.
To go.
I'm very, very excited about the NFL coming back. It's kind of strange, and you touched on this, but with how Army played against whatever, like Kennesaw Mountain State or whatever they were playing against.
They played Middle Tennessee.
It was a combination of that, and then right before the game, you said like it's it's Navy running that weird offense. It's tough to prepare for.
Yeah, no,
that's what made me bet
go.
on Navy.
Right,
and I was like, oh, the military academies are in really good shape right now.
Nope.
There's a pattern there.
Wrong.
Bet on that. I was wrong. Can't bet against the Mormons.
No. They're older. They're older and bigger and stronger. All right, so we have NBA. A lot happened in the NBA. But Hank, you died and came back to life since we last were in studio. We had the 0.5 second shot for the Raptors, that the buzzer beater that brought them back to life, and then the Celtics absolutely asserted their dominance tonight. So you're back to life.
Well, they shit the bed, though, in Game 4, which was even more concerning because it was like you have a heartbreaking loss that you should have won, and then you come back and shit the bed. Tonight was a must-win. We were in must-win territory, whereas if they lost, the series probably would have been over.
Right. So in the moment, you texted our group thread that it was a series of taco emojis, right?
Did the taco. He did the sweep. I did the taco just because I saw taco coming on.
You did the
floor.
broom emojis. In the moment,
I also tweeted Taco Thursday.
Yeah.
And that tweet ran out of relevancy in 10 seconds.
Yeah. So in the moment, you were excited about Taco being on the court. Now, are you like, that was kind of gimmicky? We should have done that.
Well, Coley, our coworker, tweeted it in real time, but it was the perfect. It was the Patriots putting Gronk as the DB for whatever reason against Miami. Like, it makes sense in theory. You put your big guys out there, they're gonna help out. But it's like, why wouldn't you just run your regular defense that's been out there all game?
Right.
So Brad Stevens, but he's like, he's
but Taco's. He's tall.
He's the out of timeout guy. He's known. He's got a little too cute.
Yeah. Well, the players also just didn't. Jason Tatum was running his own.
Well, yeah, Taco. Yeah, why play defense when Taco's standing?
He's
there?
so good that
That's
you take your foot off the gas.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he was a -3.5 a second, which is unbelievable. All right. So, and then we had LeBron go from the Lakers are in big trouble to, oh yeah, the Lakers have guys that are taller than everyone, and Anthony Davis and LeBron are better than everyone, and Russell Westbrook. Your career might be over, dude. That was so sad. I actually am sad when Russell Westbrook has bad games, like truly bad games like he did. They're giving him the Ben Simmons treatment where no one's even near him when he shoots a three. But Russell Westbrook being bad is always especially sad because when you, like, Carmelo, not to pick on Carmelo, like he got a little out of shape, didn't really want try on defense towards the end there. So you could tell yourself like, okay, he isn't really buying in. He wants to be a starter. He's not buying in. Russell Westbrook, whenever he has a bag, it's not because he's not trying. He's trying harder than everyone. Mm-hmm. All he does is try. It's just he just can't shoot.
He might be trying too hard.
He cannot shout, and so he just keeps shooting.
You really think that like he's on?
No, he's not
very much the downside of his career.
But I mean, that was I'll pull up the stats, but it was shocking how little respect he was getting from the Lakers, and the Lakers were essentially saying, "Do whatever you want." Every time Russell Westbrook shoots, that's a win for us. And I don't know. It's just I don't really know what you do with him. I mean, he'll be in the NBA for a long time because he's a freak of nature. But he was 1 of 7 from 3 and 4 for 15. And if you look at the picture, they literally were just saying like it is the loneliest feeling in the world to be on a basketball court and have everyone step away from you and be like, go ahead, take that. Uh-huh. They were giving him the like Saturday morning, go ahead, I want to see you make one before I even think about respect.
Very familiar with that. LeBron James finally did his thing that I've always said he should do, which is just put your head down and just run directly at the basket. Use your right hand. Get a layup every time.
I thought you were going to say LeBron James finally got the respect to Skip Bayless.
Well, so there's that. That's a major story after the fact, but we kind of saw like the yin and the yang of sports take Twitter reverse on itself with Skip Bayless giving credit to LeBron James for saying LeBron clutch, and then Magic Johnson firing off essentially a nuclear missile for Magic Johnson's account saying the Milwaukee Bucks didn't play smart basketball and showed a lack of mental toughness in the fourth quarter. That's as mean as Magic Johnson will ever get.
Well, the Bucks are a whole different story because they're still alive technically.
Uh-huh. Are they better without Giannis?
I tweeted that. People got very mad about that. And then, of course, they had that conversation like 10 minutes later on air because you knew it was coming.
Oh, yeah.
The minute someone gets hurt, like, I'm not tweeting because I think it. I'm tweeting because I know what's going to happen. And they did win the game without him. But the quotes that did you guys see the quotes that Budenholzer had after they lost game 3, I want to say? I think he should be fired on the spot. He was saying that Giannis and Middleton, they're playing 33 to 36 minutes a game, and that's about their ceiling. In the playoffs, he's saying that about his MVP.
Right.
36. And then he was also talking about the guy, I can't remember who he had on, Jimmy Butler, who's doing a really good job, and he's like, yeah, we didn't really want him in the fourth quarter. Like, basically admitting his incompetence to the whole world after game 3. And Bucks fans, I don't feel bad for Bucks fans because they're also Packer fans, but I will say, watching, I think it was game 3 where they watched their team get absolutely, like, they watched their team die, and for about 20 minutes they just talked about where Giannis is going next.
Yeah, I think
and that's just the whole conversation now, and I feel for them because that's absolutely terrible to watch.
Right, you would rather have the conversation like, are the Bucks better without Giannis? And there's like a little part of you that's like, well, if he does go somewhere, maybe this take will be right, and that we are better. But there are hilarious stats that you can bring up that show that the Bucks are better in the fourth quarter without Giannis. So in clutch time, him and I guess Middleton, when it's Middleton on the court, no Giannis in the fourth quarter, the Bucks outscore their opponents by more than when Giannis is on the court with them. So you can make that argument if you want to. It's kind of cherry picked.
I just feel bad.
I think that Budenholzer is like, he is always competing against the specter of Nick Nurse, because Nick Nurse is like a leveled up version of Bud, right?
Yeah.
He's like, they both have that like quasi accountant look to them. They both coach teams in the East, in the northern part of the United States, and like they are giving all the credit to Nick Nurse for being the mastermind. So Budenholzer's like, well, if I make these small adjustments in the fourth quarter, that will show that I'm actually a very good coach.
Here was the quote that was, I actually think he was drunk. Mike Budenholzer just said, this is Tim Botemps, said Mike Budenholzer just said the Bucks had won 6 quarters in a row entering the fourth quarter tonight. This was after game 3. That may be so, but they also lost the other 2 quarters in games 2 and 3 by a combined 36 points. So they lost the fourth quarter in game 3, 40-13, and he was talking about how they had won 6 quarters in a row.
That's a fact.
That's some
Do
Mark
the math
Trestman
on it.
shit.
Do the math on it.
That's some fucking crazy.
Listen, you got to take an edge
there.
wherever you can get it.
Holy fuck! So and then now we're watching the Clippers versus the Nugs. Nugs look good, man. We might just have to be. Weren't we a Nuggets podcast for a minute?
Nuggets Jazz.
No, we were though. Like I feel like a while ago we were like, we're just gonna be a Nuggets.
I think the Magic. We were a Magic podcast for a hot minute.
Remember, people got mad that we never talked about the Nuggets, and then we dropped the word Nuggets into as many times as we could in like a 5-minute segment.
That's true. Yeah,
and
we said like Nuggets.
All
that.
We talked about the Nuggets, assholes.
Well,
so there we go. We talked about the Nuggets.
The Clippers just they came out flat in game 1. I had no idea like what were they even doing to get ready for that team because the Nuggets.
No, game 2.
No, I'm talking about game 1.
The Clippers.
Oh, game 2. Yeah.
The Nuggets. In
game 2 over the weekend.
Right.
They're just like it was a completely different team.
Yeah.
All these games have been weird where like they go back and forth so often and then they're just like so uncompetitive for the most part.
There's been some good games. I mean the Rockets.
Celtics series has been good.
Yeah,
Celtics series was good.
The Rockets and even the Rockets when they went fucking. What's Gronk's word when he tried to say bazooka? Did he say bazooka?
We went bazookas.
Yeah, when he went bazookas, they went bazookas on the Lakers in the third quarter, and that the Rockets, as frustrating and annoying as they are, I fucking love PJ Tucker. I wish that he played for any other team so I could root for him because he's the guy who he's smaller than everyone or smaller than the guy he's usually matched up against, but he has like perfect boxing out form and always hustling. Mm-hmm. And he is I think the Rockets said after game 1, they're like, they don't like height doesn't matter. It's about the dog in you. That's PJ Tucker.
Well, he's also way older than I had ever known. How old do you think he is?
I think he's like 30,
in his 30s, yeah.
35.
Yeah.
Shit.
He played for like 5 years overseas before he came to the NBA.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where I just, because he's been only around the last like 5 or so years.
Right.
I didn't realize how old he actually was.
They also said sabermetrically he's not that short because he's got the wingspan of a 7-footer. So like you play defense with the tips.
Wingspan matters.
With the tips of your fingers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wingspan absolutely matters. Rondo, by the way, was toast until he came. He had a good.
Yeah, I know.
He was toast. Like everyone counted him out because game 1 he was very bad, and he actually playoff Rondo might be coming into form.
I hate to see it.
I love playoff. I love any guy who's like the playoff version of me, which just is implying like I don't actually try during the regular season. Like wait till playoff Rondo shows up and I actually start giving a shit.
I do think that teams shouldn't be allowed to wear alternate jerseys in the playoffs. I think you just got to stick to home and away.
Oh wow, what do you have against Kobe?
Nothing. I mean, it's more like this Nuggets Clippers game is like you don't even recognize the teams because it's like they're wearing alternate jerseys.
I do like it better when there's like distinctive colors. I get that like selective color blindness that you get during some color rush games where it was like the Jets versus the Bills and it was red and green uniforms.
Like the NFL would never do that in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah.
No.
MLB.
All right. What else? We had the Kentucky Derby. I lost, but. It was cool. Although it wasn't cool because
the horses don't try as hard when there's no crowd.
Well, Tiz the Law not winning was kind of a bummer. I felt bad for him. And it was just, I don't know, the whole thing was kind of a bummer. And I saw the ratings after, which I'm not going to try to be a Clay Travis ratings guy, but it was like half the amount of people watched, which makes sense.
Well, it is like one of the most social.
September, weekend's like so weird.
The horses got woke? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I saw a horse kneeling before.
They haven't had a police horse in racing the Kentucky Derby in 100 years.
The Kentucky Derby's done. Nothing to do with the fact it was in September. All right, let's get to Who's Back of the Week, and then we will have Warren Sharp on. Before we do Who's Back of the Week, this is actually Hot Seat Cool Throne, but we'll do Who's Back of the Week, but it's also Hot Seat Cool Throne is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. Who's Back of the Week is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer. Who's Back of the Week is beer runs. With sports being back, our friends at Bud Light know you can't miss any precious seconds of the game. Head to budlight.com/delivery and get ice cold Bud Light and Bud Light Seltzer delivered straight to your door so you don't have to miss any action. That's budlight.com/delivery, budlight.com/delivery. Beer runs are back for Who's Back. Okay, Hank, Who's Back of the Week?
My hot seat is me because I thought we were doing Who's Back.
We said on the text that we have that we are doing Who's Back.
Yeah, I know. I was just reading this. It's Who's Back.
Oh, okay, then Cool Throne is also me.
For having a Who's Back ready.
Yeah. Do you have a Who's Back? Do you have a Who's Back?
Yeah, I have a few.
Yeah, so go. We're doing Who's Back.
Fuck me up.
I just saw the first line said Hot Seat Cool Throne is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, but Who's Back is now brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer.
All right, so my Cool Throne is Who's Back, one of which is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is filming another Mission Impossible movie, Mission Impossible 12, I think it is. And they basically set up the we talked about it with Tony Hawk, although it hasn't come out yet. But it was like one of these mega ramps off in like in the mountains of some country. Like it's one of the craziest jumps I've ever seen. He did it by himself, didn't use a stuntman. So that's
he just jumped off a ramp?
He jumped off a ramp on a motorcycle. But like it's like the ramp is falling off a cliff, so then he had to parachute. So he fell off the motorcycle, parachuted, did the whole thing.
I feel like Tom Cruise just does that. When you
remember the clip of him hanging on the airplane? He like one-upped it basically.
Once you reach a point in life where you've been like the most attractive person in Hollywood for 35 years, the only rushes you can get is just coming as close to death as possible repeatedly.
Or maybe Tom Cruise just wants to die because he has that is it billion-year contract with Scientology?
Is that it?
Yeah, he's locked up for like 1 billion years.
He's got the Bobby Bonilla of religious contracts.
So he's
right
good. Like I think he's probably saying, "What does it matter if I die? I got 1 billion-year contract."
Right. He's got like Thetans waiting for him on the other side.
It's totally
right?
fine.
L. Ron Hubbard's spaceship is going to come down to Earth and pick him up personally.
It's perfect.
I hope they show
a good promo for the movie.
I hope he puts his fake ass in this movie again, like he did in Valkyrie, where he's got those two just Easter hams hanging out of the back.
Yes, and then my other cool throne of who's back is hilarious breakup temporary special support. Like, you guys see Dr. Dre and his wife are getting divorced?
No.
And his wife asked for $2 million a month in temporary spousal support. This is the breakdown. Laundry and cleaning, $10,000 a month. Clothes, $135,000 a month. Education, $60,000 a month.
For who? Her?
For her. Well, and I'm guessing the kids' education. Yeah. Entertainment, $900,000 a month. Charitable contributions, $125,000 a month. I
like that.
Mortgage, $100,000 a month. Telephone, cell phone, email, $20,000 a month.
Email.
20,000. What kind of email
telephone,
services?
Email.
Telephone, comma, cell phone, comma, email.
Does she know email's free?
Apparently not. I mean, she's going for it all.
What kind of contract is she locked into for her cell phone as well?
She just keeps.
She's probably on like the per text.
Yeah, she keeps upgrading on Gmail. You know, when they're like, "Hey, you need to upgrade your gigabytes," and then you just go delete a bunch of emails. You're like, "No, I don't, bitch."
She's probably buying just a shitload of ringtones.
Keeps updating it.
She's buying half the ringtones.
She bought Akon. She has Akon making personal ringtones for her.
I also like how it's $900,000 in entertainment and then $100,000 on mortgage.
Yeah,
you're living a sweet life if you're spending like almost 10 times as much on chilling as you are on the place that you chill in.
That's an incredible budget. Hopefully,
it's also a smart move. You know, you're the art of the deal guy, but like you start high, and
right?
Like, end up with
$1 million.
$1 million.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's cake.
Very smart. Very smart. Okay, is that it?
That's it for Hot Sequel.
Also, I mean, fellas, if you're single out there and looking for a sugar mama, you could do a lot worse than marrying into that budget.
PFT, what's your who's back?
My who's back of the week is The Shield. The Shield is back in the NFL. For a while, we lost it. It got removed from the 50-yard line down in Carolina when they put the Panthers logo there. Right now, it's only in the Meadowlands. It's at MetLife, where the Giants and Jets play. And now it's going to be the Washington football team's 50-yard line.
Nice.
So respecting the Shield. The skeptical people out there would say this is Dan Snyder trying to butter up Roger Goodell so that the outcome of any investigations that may or may not be taking place right now into Snyder's ownership would be more favorable. I'm not saying that at all.
Isn't it just because they don't have a logo?
They have a Washington. They have a W that they could use.
Yeah.
But yeah, it also has to do with the fact that they don't have a logo. They don't really have a logo.
Right.
But the skeptic would say that you're buttering up the commission by saying nobody's bigger than the Shield. But I do love the Shield at midfield. My other who's back of the week is Ryan Fitzpatrick. Ryan Fitzpatrick won the starting job down in Miami over Tua. And if you thought that Ryan Fitzpatrick was going away anytime soon, you don't know anything about football.
No,
because he's been going strong for 16 years?
Dude, Josh McCown. Like, Ryan Fitzpatrick saw Josh McCown getting $12,000 a week by sitting at home in Texas and going on Zooms and being the emergency backup quarterback. And he's like, yo, I got another 10 years to my deal here in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, easily.
It's one of those things that will be nice to see on Sunday. It'll be comforting.
Yes.
There are no people in the stands, but as long as we have, like, Ryan Fitzpatrick and his bushy, humidified, frizzy beard poking through the holes in the face mask, I will know that it's football season. I will be happy.
He'll have at least a couple games where he goes crazy and everyone's like, holy shit, Ryan Fitzpatrick. Should we give him money? Sure. All right, my who's back. I got two. Nick Cage is back. Did you guys see this clip?
No.
Oh, my God. This clip. All right, so I'll have you put this in, but I'm going to play it right here. Nick Cage is all the way back.
To go to some really crazy places. Like, how do you amp yourself up for scenes like that? Or is, what does the term over the top even register?
You show me where the top is, and I'll let you know whether I'm over it or not, all right? I design where the top is. Brian could speak more to this than I can. He knows how spiritual acting is for me. I don't even like the word acting anymore. I don't, because it implies lying in some way. I don't act. I feel and I imagine and I channel.
So Nick Cage is back. He doesn't act.
Hell yeah.
He channels, he feels, he imagines. It was, I don't know where this clip was from. It seems like it was a new movie that they're doing publicity for. But yeah, Nick Cage just telling everyone that you don't tell him where the top is because he designs the top. And just, we don't, as like a country, appreciate Nick Cage enough.
Oh, I love Nick Cage. In that clip, he sounds like Owen Wilson doing an impression of Nick Cage on Saturday Night Live.
He's incredible.
Yeah, or like if Nick Cage was... Is Owen Wilson doing an impression of Nick Cage in a Wes Anderson movie?
Nick Cage had to give back like a dinosaur skull to Mongolia because it was stolen illegally, and like that's just a real headline that happened with Nick Cage.
I think he's just he's realized that the character that he plays in National Treasure is like the coolest person in the history of the earth. So he's just trying to become more and more like that character.
Right. All right, my other who's back is Mitch Trubisky, QB1, Mitch Trubisky, I should say. He is back. I'm ready, and I have a little perspective for you from Coach Matt Nagy. So he said, here's how I look at this thing. We're in a really crazy world right now. There's a lot of bad stories out there. There's a lot of negativity out there. So here we are in a profession where there can be a lot of good stories, and I just think, to me, like you have an opportunity here to have a really cool story. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But you have somebody that has been through a lot in the sports world, had some highs and had a lot of lows. That sucks that he said had a lot of lows. He has worked
some highs
and had a lot of lows.
A lot of lefts, a lot of rights, a lot of overthrows.
He can't throw left.
Not so many lefts.
He has worked his tail off to win this job and have an opportunity to prove a lot of people right. If you struggle to see that and understanding that, then that's your own opinion. But here we are, and now he has an opportunity, and let's see where it goes. Now he has the ball, and he's able to do what he wants with it. We are going to all support and surround him and give him every opportunity to have a very happy ending. So, all you haters out there who make fun of Mitch Trubisky, send me all those mean tweets, just know that there's a lot of negativity in this world, and you should instead be rooting for a cool story.
That's right. Rudy would have been such a terrible movie if he didn't suck as a football player.
Exactly. It's bullshit that anyone is sitting here and rooting against Mitch Trubisky.
You know what's really easy? You know what's really easy to do, Big Cat? To watch Patrick Mahomes play, who incidentally was selected behind Mitch Trubisky, and say, that guy's good, I hope he wins.
Yeah.
And then you end up being proven right, inevitably. Cool. You know what's a lot harder to do is pick a guy that's terrible and be like, maybe...
Well, he's had some highs.
He's had some highs and he's had some rights.
A lot of lows.
Some lows, not any lefts, and say, I think that guy's good, and have a 1% chance of you being right hit.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Look. The world sucks right now. 2020 sucks. Root for something crazy. Mitch Trubisky, 2020. All right, Billy.
Rooting for something even crazier, my Who's Back of the Week is Nathan Peterman.
Yes, Billy.
Marcus Mariota has been put on the IR. And
you sure that's the same Marcus Mariota?
Yes.
He's injured?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
No way.
In Las Vegas, the second-string quarterback is now Nathan Peterman.
Hell yeah. And we know Gruden loves him.
Yeah, Peterman,
so there's
man.
a chance. There's a chance we see another Nathan Peterman.
You want to get real fucking crazy with 2020?
Yeah.
Get a Nathan Peterman tattoo.
Nathan Peterman, Super Bowl MVP.
You should do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to gamble that.
Get a Nathan Peterman tattoo.
No.
Why?
Oh, come on.
But just do it for fun.
I'll gamble on Nathan Peterman winning Super Bowl MVP.
Listen, Nathan Peterman walked so that Jameis Winston could run last year. He really changed the NFL.
We need Nathan Peterman in a game. Just that will be. They should have a clause. All NBC and ESPN should have a in case of Nathan Peterman starting a game flex clause. Like because seriously, think about it. Like if Derek Carr gets hurt and you have, I don't know, so let's say it's the Monday night game where it's like Dolphins versus Texans. But you also have the chance of maybe now having Nathan Peterman start in front of the world. Come on, dude. You wouldn't take Nathan Peterman?
If you're going to, would you rather lose like 21-17 and have Derek Carr back there throwing for like 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 280 yards? That. Or would you rather have Nathan Peterman going out with his hair on fire, throwing 5 interceptions in the first half, and just having it seem like the apocalypse is occurring between the tackle box? Because that is you know what that is? That's a game where you say 5 years from now, 7 years from now, I remember where I was when Nathan Peterman imploded.
Right.
And that's all you can hope for out of a football game.
Right.
Just remember, Nathan Peterman beat Clemson in Death Valley with Pitt. Just remember that.
Fact.
That is a
fact.
Get
a Peterman tattoo.
That is a fact. And then Clemson won the national title.
Also, Chad Kelly.
Is that the year they won the national title? I think they did.
I think
so.
You said Chad Kelly?
Chad Kelly signed with the practice squad for the Colts.
Again, okay.
He's back.
Okay, so
I don't know if that's technically a he's back. I feel like Chad Kelly just never like moved out of Indianapolis.
True.
He just like stayed living in an apartment downtown and was like showing up at bars, and they're like, all right, well, yeah, I guess we need an emergency guy. Let's fucking have him.
Yeah.
Scout team.
No, they brought him back. I don't think Chad Kelly would re-enter a building that he's not allowed to be in. He was invited.
All right, let's get to our interview. So first we have Warren Sharp football preview, and then we have Blake Anderson. PFT, you got our ad before we get to Warren Sharp.
Yes, this is huge actually, because another Who's Back of the Week is 3Chi and their Delta 8 THC. Delta 8 THC is back. It's a federally legal version of THC, and our good friends at 3Chi have it. Their effects are a perfect hybrid of CBD and Delta 9, giving it a similar buzz and all the medicinal side effects that you get with Delta 9, but you don't get the laziness, you don't get that anxiety, you don't get paranoid, and you don't get mental fogginess. Delta 8 users report feeling far more active and outgoing with increased confidence and almost none of the anxiousness or the paranoia that you get with Delta 9 usage. 3Chi is the leader in hemp-derived cannabinoid products. All their products are formulated by a biochemist, and they are federally legal versions of THC. It's a perfect substitute for anyone that uses Delta 9 that wants the same great feelings without the negative side effects. You're going to be functional and clear-headed. You're not going to be lazy. You aren't going to be paranoid. 3Chi isn't just the best in the Delta 8 industry. They invented the industry. Their Delta 8 is hemp-derived, federally legal, and it's available online at 3Chi. That's number 3chi.com, and at select retailers around the country. You have to be 21 to purchase. They're going to give you 5% off your order. Just go to 3Chi, that's number 3chi.com. Shop for Delta 8 vapes, gummies, tinctures, and oils. Make your own homemade edibles. Use promo code PMT at checkout. Get 5% off your order. You have to be 21 to purchase, only at 3Chi. That's number 3chi.com. And now, Warren Sharp.
Okay, we now welcome on our good friend Warren Sharp. He's going to give us an awesome preview for the upcoming NFL season. It is week 1. We are finally here. If you don't know Warren Sharp, you can follow him on Twitter at Sharp Football. You can also buy his 2020 football preview book, which is his pinned tweet. He actually was awesome. He did all the proceeds to our Grit Week stream during the Grit Week stream. So everyone who bought during that time, thank you. And thank you, Warren, for doing that. Great to see you. It means football's back when we see your mustache to mustache. Let's start here because we got a lot we want to get to and get everyone smart and ready to go for Thursday night. Obviously, this is the weirdest year that we've had. No preseason. No. It seems like teams, the teams are playing some contact reps, but not a ton. What do you think the biggest fallout is going to be in the month of September in terms of quality of play and who's at the bigger disadvantage, offense or defense, when we're talking about the start of the season?
Well, first of all, guys, happy to be back. And I do want to tell you that nobody has to buy anything. The book, I'm giving it away for free to your listeners. So if you go to the website, sharpfootballanalysis.com, it's free. It's up there. Just click the banner ad and you'll be able to get it for free. I don't want anybody to have to pay for that right now. There's still great stuff in it. Don't get me wrong, but you don't need to pay anything.
Is this like a drug dealer thing where you're like, I'm going to get you hooked on it?
Well, no, because 2020 season's starting. So he's smart. He's smart what he's doing. He's getting you hooked on it after the fact. And then next year you're going to be like, damn, I really should have gotten that earlier.
Okay. But it's definitely worth it. If you want to pay for it, it's still worth the price.
Yes.
Thank you. So the only thing that we have that's even close to the 2020 preseason and off season, I went back and looked at what they did in 2011. I don't know if you guys remember, you probably do. That was the year of the lockout where there were disputes over the CBA and they had to come up with a new CBA. And the players from the Super Bowl onward were unable to even access the facilities. Okay. No access to the facilities. And they made an agreement. They made their deal back at the very end of July. They all came back in, but there's two main differences. So that's similar timing to what we're dealing with here, where guys were able to come back to the facilities in late July and do nothing prior to that. But the two main differences, the first one was that year we had all the preseason games except for the Hall of Fame game. So all of the hitting and all the contact and everything, live reps, live game action was taking place just like it was planned. We clearly did not have that this offseason. And then secondly, the lack of communication. That season, a lot of the teams still got together themselves. You had different units getting together to work out with one another. Here with the pandemic, people were just at their homes doing some things with a couple guys from a random team, sometimes not even their own team. It was very different from that perspective. That season, the first 2 weeks out the gates of 2011, overs went 73%. Overs went 73%.
I want to cut this part, but yeah, go ahead. I want to keep this for ourselves.
We're going to get our bets in before we put this out, and then we'll be fine.
Got it.
So the odds makers still set the totals right around the same number that they did the year before in 2010, and even in 2009, they went up a couple of points. But the totals still had about 6 points more. And it was actually no season on record has had more overs the first couple of weeks than that 2011 season. Nobody else is really discussing this. I think there's a couple of things that will happen this year that teams need to take advantage of. Number one is tempo. I think they can further wear out these defenses if they get a lot of reps in. Get to the line of scrimmage quickly does not necessarily mean you have to go fast, but if you get to the line of scrimmage quickly, you're preventing substitutions for the defense. And then I think by the third and fourth quarters, that's when we're going to see these defenses get worn down a little bit. I think that's one of the bigger things that is going to be evident from having the lack of the preseason games. Now, I know from some of the coaches that I've talked to that on the offensive side of the ball, they're worried about their reps and they're worried about their conditioning and the chemistry between the offensive linemen, for example. You are going to need to monitor, which teams have a lot of turnover on their offense and which teams have a lot of new pieces, a new play caller, a new quarterback, etc. But I do think overall, defenses are having those same exact things on their side of the football. I know the offensive guys get all hyper about it, but defenses are having those same sort of things. We are going to see some sloppiness. We are going to see some problems, but I think getting to the line of scrimmage quickly is going to be a big benefit. And then, of course, we got this crowd noise and the 70 decibel limit and all this type of stuff. Coaches are really worried about that as well.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that because I feel like in my mind, it's always like you hear the defenses are a little bit ahead of the offenses early in the season where they can just blitz a lot and maybe take advantage of the fact that the offensives haven't practiced a lot of different protection packages and kind of confuse them and throw a bunch of stuff like that happen. But you're saying it's kind of the opposite, that the defense is just going to get tired out because they're not in condition. So like the second half point total is even going to be bigger than the first half.
I think so. Look, when and this is just a suspicion. We don't know anything. We've never had an off season like this. So you have to, if you're betting on these games or if you're thinking about them, you have to do your research, think logically, okay, what has happened? 2011 is the only thing close to this. What could we see? This is where I'm falling out on this argument. Who's going to be ahead? We could very well see defenses have a little bit of an upper hand. I could be wrong here, but I do think there are times when I'm betting a total and I'll bet the first half under as opposed to the full game under. This is the perfect week to do something like that. If you like a game and you think there's going to be fewer points, I think betting it in the first half when the defenses are at their freshest is the smart thing to do. And if you like an over, betting it either at halftime or the full game is going to be smarter than trying to come in and bet the first half over.
All right, so let's transition now to the different conferences. So let's start with the AFC. The AFC, obviously, we know, the Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champs, Patrick Mahomes, incredible, blah, blah, blah. The Ravens, MVP, Lamar Jackson. Give us, though, because it happens every year, and obviously there's a different playoff structure now with 7 teams from each conference. Give us, though, the team that you thought last year was better than their record, and you think they have something they're going to be building on here and going to surprise some people.
So if I were to ask you guys, you know the teams, you mentioned a few of them, including, you didn't mention the Patriots, but throw the Patriots in the mix. Of the teams that week 8, halfway through last season, the number 1 seed in the AFC was the New England Patriots. They were undefeated at the time, 8-0. Who do you think was number 2 in the AFC halfway through the season?
I think, was it the Buffalo Bills?
No.
No, because it couldn't be the 2 seed. Was it the Texans?
No, it was actually the Indianapolis Colts, even though they were led by Jacoby Brissett. They were 6-2. They had beaten the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City, handed Patrick Mahomes his only second ever home loss.
Dogs. Yep.
Went in and beat the Texans also and the Titans earlier on in that season. Then they go in the second half of the season. This is a team over their last 9 games of the 2019 season. They led at halftime or entering the fourth quarter in 7 of those 9 games, but they only won 2. They only won 2 of those 9 games despite all these big leads. And the odds say, and the history says, when you have leads at halftime or entering the fourth quarter, you're 80+% chance that you're going to win this game. And they blew a ton of those games. I personally think that Frank Reich is one of the most underrated play callers that we have in the NFL. Think about this. 2017, he wins the Super Bowl in Philadelphia as the OC for the Philadelphia Eagles. Then they obviously didn't want him. Indy tried to get Josh McDaniels. They ended up getting Frank Reich to come in there. That offseason, he's working with Andrew Luck for the first time in his, obviously he's a brand new coach. Andrew Luck's throwing tennis balls that offseason. Like, we don't know if Andrew Luck's going to be able to play. He's throwing a college-sized football a few weeks before the start of the season. We don't know what we're going to get out of him. Frank Reich dialed up an offense that played to Andrew Luck's strengths as he was recovering from his surgery, and they end up winning 10 games that first year he gets there, and they go to the playoffs. Last season, he has to deal with Andrew Luck retiring 3 weeks before the start of the season. All of a sudden, boom, he's got to call plays for Jacoby Brissett all year, and they just did what I said. They were the number 2 seed halfway through the season. They have since gone out. They've got Phillip Rivers, who I've loved Phillip Rivers as a competitor, and I've always wanted him to be on a team.
Wait, hold on, Warren. I got to stop you. Yeah. That sounds to me like you don't think Phillip Rivers has much of an arm left, because saying I love him as a competitor is a telltale sign you don't love him as a quarterback anymore.
I love his moxie and his gusto, but you're right. There are some questions about his arm strength. But that being said, I do wonder what he's going to look like behind a realistic offensive line. The Chargers went out year after year, tried to bring on offensive linemen, draft offensive linemen, and none of these guys seem to work out. He is playing behind the best offensive line, or one of the best in the entirety of the NFL right now. They also brought on new players at the skill position that are going to help him. I love their 3 wide receiver set. They get back Paris Campbell, who basically missed all of last season with injury. He was a high draft pick for them, but couldn't play last year. They go out and draft another wide receiver high this season. They get Jonathan Taylor, your boy from Wisconsin, coming in there. And I think by the way, I like him over 700 yards in his rushing yards prop on the season, Big Cat. But I think Jonathan Taylor with Marlon Mack in there as a 1-2 punch are going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think this is a team that a lot of people kind of forgot about. Yes. Nobody's really that big on Phillip Rivers. I think the thing that we cannot underestimate here is just how good of a coach and a play caller Frank Reich is, and why I think he's going to stamp his name on this football team, and they're going to be a lot better than people think.
That's a great answer.
It's also interesting. Frank Reich went out and he solved the problem of blowing fourth quarter leads by getting a quarterback that always trails in the fourth quarter. So, that's not going to happen again. That was an aberration last year. But you think he has enough left in the tank with a good offensive line to actually be a competent quarterback this year?
I do. I think they've got enough underneath. And look, what did we talk about Andrew Luck in 2018? Andrew Luck's arm strength. What's going on with Andrew Luck? I think that Frank Reich's going to be able to dial up something that works to make the quarterback, Phillip Rivers, look a lot better. And I just think that the offensive minds that were out in LA with the Chargers, don't not even hold a candle to what Frank Reich is as a play caller. And so I think we're going to see some optimization of whatever it is Phillip Rivers has left. I think we're going to see that this year in Indy.
Okay. I'm very curious to hear what your NFC dark horse team, because there's one team that everyone's picking. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but if you were to kind of put that same Colts prognosis on a team from the NFC, who would it be?
Okay, well, I don't know if the team you're talking about is the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, it's the Cardinals. Yes. It's the Cardinals.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the Cardinals because you're right. That was too easy to guess. A lot of people talked about the Cardinals. The team that I'm going to go with that actually missed the playoffs last year, they are favored this year. It seems like a slam dunk too. Probably second most talked about team apart from the Cardinals who didn't make it. It is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think the Dallas Cowboys offense is going to be significantly better than a lot of people think. But here's the interesting thing, guys, that nobody's talking about yet, and I'm interested to see if we start to see it week 1, Sunday Night Football. I cannot wait for this game out in LA against the Rams. But the prior coach obviously influenced a lot of things. He didn't call all the plays, but he influenced a lot of that offense. And Jason Garrett had the Dallas Cowboys, Dak's been in the NFL for 4 years now. They were the number 4 most run-heavy teams on early downs in the first half of games. They ran the ball a ton. We knew this a couple of years ago. They got a little bit better, but they were still top 10 in rush rate the past couple of years, even with Dak Prescott there. I think that the new coach, Mike McCarthy, is going to instill a lot more aggressive nature and a lot more passing to this offense. Think back to what he did with Aaron Rodgers back in like the 2016 and the 2017 season. Aaron got hurt in 2017, didn't play the full slate of games, got hurt against the Vikings. Then he played in 2018 until McCarthy got fired. Over that span in time, no football team passed the ball more on early downs than the Green Bay Packers. We are going from one of the most conservative run-heavy coaches of Jason Garrett to the most aggressive coach in terms of throwing the football down the field in Mike McCarthy. Passing is more efficient than running the football is. I think we're going to see a higher ceiling because they're going to be willing to pass the ball. I love their weapons. First of all, getting rid of Jason Witten, that's addition by subtraction right there. I like Blake Jarwin anyways, but just not having to throw the ball to a guy who cannot move after he catches it is going to benefit the Dallas Cowboys. And then, of course, CeeDee Lamb, you can't say enough good things about him. Hopefully he catches on pretty quickly for the Cowboys' sake. I think this is a team that has a very good outside shot. You can get him for plus 675 at winning the entire NFC. You can hedge some things late if you need to. And I don't love some of the early stuff on their offensive line, but they've got the possibility of putting things together and making a run this season. They went, I think, 1-6 in one-score games last year. One of the worst things about them was their red zone performance, and I think if McCarthy can improve that, this is a really dangerous team.
They're also playing like one of the lowest strength of schedules this year, right? They've got a bunch of cupcake games on there. If you look at the other teams that are supposed to be good going into this year, I think like head and shoulders, the Cowboys have the easiest road.
Yeah, Dallas, when I look at I do a lot of strength of schedule. I wrote about it in the book a lot, and Dallas has the 10th easiest schedule of opposing teams in the NFL this year. So it's definitely more beneficial than, let's say, the Eagles' schedule. And those two teams, I think, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, how much is that actually, like, I like looking at strength of schedule too, but we all know that once the season starts, you kind of have to throw it out the window. Like, for instance, last year, the Packers played the Chiefs without Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? Like, there are different, getting a team at the right time, getting a team when they're on the up, getting a team when they're on the down. Like, there's definitely a difference in playing teams, different parts of the schedule where strength of schedule doesn't feel as important.
No, 100%. The strength of schedule preseason is just our best guess at what we can expect this year. What a lot of people don't do, Big Cat, that I think is a big mistake, and it is something that I focus on a lot, is looking at strength of schedule in season.
Yeah.
A lot of people use it as a tool before the season starts, and then they just forget about it. But they use it in college football. It's also very valuable. It doesn't really matter as much in the NBA or baseball where there's such high sample sizes, lots of games being played. But in the NFL where you only play 16 opponents and a lot of them are inside of your division, who you're playing outside of those opponents and who you're playing compared to who somebody else is playing is massive in terms of being able to use that to help forecast and prognosticate efficiencies. And so it's something that I rely a lot on, whether I'm betting games or whether I'm helping teams anticipate, calibers of opposing defenses. When we look at, this defense is really good. Yeah, but they just played 3 of the bottom 10 passing offenses the last 3 weeks. We don't have to get conservative and say, let's run the ball a lot against them because they look like they've got a good pass defense. Let's still pass the ball because we think we might have an edge.
Right. So, all right. So let's do the reverse here. 2 teams from each conference who made the playoffs or who were deemed good and maybe missed the playoffs by a game, who you could see as falling off a little bit and maybe not. Maybe it was a little house of cards, so to speak.
Well, I think in the NFC, I like this guy as a coach, Mike Zimmer, but I think the Minnesota Vikings are due for a little bit of regression. That entire division, your division in the NFC North, is really interesting because everybody, including the odds makers, have forecasted that the Green Bay Packers are going to regress. This was a team that won 13 games last year that only has a win total of 9 games. That they're being forecast to win 4 fewer games this upcoming season, finish in second place in that division. And I don't think that that's unwarranted. This was a team that got lucky and had a lot of things go for it. They were not, in my opinion, a 13-win team last year. But we overlook the Minnesota Vikings in the same context, in the same conversation. Some of the things that we could say poorly about the Green Bay Packers in terms of opposing quarterbacks that they faced last year that made their defense look better than it was, we could say about the Minnesota Vikings, but nobody is doing that. Minnesota finished top 10 in injury luck, fumble recovery luck, field goal luck. Field goal luck is a thing. It's something that I track. It's it's your ability to make field goals. And then also are the teams that you're going up against, are they making or missing their field goals? Because there's a certain rate that you're supposed to make on a 45-yard field goal. And if you face a bunch of teams that just happen to hit well above that rate, then you're just getting unlucky from the field goal luck perspective. So Minnesota just had a lot of good things going for it. And this is an offseason in particular that we noted ahead of at the beginning, the first question you asked me, has a lot of change, a lot of moving pieces on that defense, a lot of new players that are coming in there. And I think that's very difficult. Minnesota went out and spent a lot on draft capital this season. I think they drafted 12 players, a ton of new rookies to come in the door. Just a bad year to have to incorporate a lot of rookies and expect much out of them given the lack of an offseason. And then you lose Diggs, who's one of your biggest playmaking threats offensively. So I think this is a team that probably regresses a little bit on the NFC. And over in the AFC, look, I guess I'll just say this. I think the Denver Broncos, they're an exciting team. A lot of people are big on Drew Lock. And so this is not a team that I think is going to necessarily regress, but I think won't live up to expectations more so. Drew Lock, everybody talks about how he went 4-1 down the stretch and won all these games late in the year. And so those are good things going for him. But they played some of the worst pass defenses in the NFL during that stretch. Looking at some of the advanced analytics, he was not good throwing the ball deeper down the field. Anything above 15 yards depth of target was very inaccurate on. And he's got a bunch of wide receivers. Elway did a good job of bringing in some good stud wide receivers. He's got a lot of receiving threats there. But I just don't know if I have confidence in his new offensive coordinator and his ability to have a really good season all the way through.
Counterpoint, he's got it. I think Drew Lock has it. He's got moxie. I love his competitiveness, Warren.
He now has he took the moxie throne from Phil Rivers in the AFC West.
So are you guys Lock fans?
I'm a big Lock believer.
I believe in Lock, yes, mostly just because PFT is incept in my brain. I actually will – I don't want to reveal, but I think I might make my biggest bet of my life on the Broncos week 1 because I don't understand how, with everything that's going on with COVID and the lack of training camp and the lack of conditioning, you can have a team go mile high and compete week 1 and not just be absolutely destroyed. And the Broncos are always good in September week 1. In September in Denver.
In Denver, yeah. So there's 2 things going for Denver that week that not a lot of people are aware of. The first thing that's going for them is exactly what you mentioned. It's we know these defenses have not played a lot. They haven't tackled a lot. And when they go and play weeks 1 and weeks 2 out in Denver, at that elevation that they have there, they really struggle to get oxygen. They get gassed. And so you couple that element with the fact that they didn't do much this preseason. I think that is an advantage for Denver to jump on this team and to have some success in the second half against that defense. The other thing that's really interesting, guys, take a look at what time this game is being played. Not only is it a Monday night game, but is it Monday night 10 p.m. Eastern time kickoff not on the West Coast, but Mountain Denver West, is a team that has the advantage of the body clock. The body clock is a bigger element than a lot of people realize. Usually in this game, we have a game like the Raiders versus the Chargers, or a couple of West Coast teams. An East Coast team playing at this time, their body clock is going to be significantly messed up as compared to Denver's body clock. And that typically does an element called the circadian rhythm, which makes the second half of games, these teams tend to wear out. They get fatigued because mentally they're less awake than Denver is, who's playing at an earlier time locally that they're accustomed to. So something else to consider.
I love that. Now, my brain is so dumb that when you said that it's at night, I thought you were going to say that there's less oxygen even at night because there's like less sky around. That's a theory. I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head and maybe bring that up later. But I wanted to touch on what you said a second ago about field goal luck. What teams are have the worst field goal luck when it comes to their opponents making more kicks than they should against them? And isn't there an argument to be made that maybe there's something that's contributing to that field goal luck, whether it's not having a very good rush on the kick, or finding themselves in the situations where they have very makeable field goals,
or
against
playing
them.
the Ravens twice a year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but there are teams, for example, like the LA Rams, whose opponents average 80% make rate against them last season. It was definitely well above average. I think it was 7% above average based upon the distance of those kicks. So they were a team. I wrote about it in the book on one of the pages towards the end of each chapter. I list out every single team's field goal luck, net field goal luck, their own make rate, and their opponent's make rate, and there's some calculations in there. But it definitely does factor in. If you have to play a team like the Ravens or teams that have in a division where there's good kickers there, you're in luck. A team that got to play Adam Vinatieri, right, for the Indianapolis Colts last year, who just couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, literally, you're going to be in much better shape. There are teams that won games against the Colts last year that should have lost them for sure, but Vinatieri kept just crapping the bed every single time he got out the kick.
I'm also curious about the effect of new stadiums, or stadia, as Peter King pointed out earlier today, that the plural is actually stadia. In Los Angeles, you've got two teams that are playing in a brand new stadium, and then in Las Vegas, you've got the Raiders opening that stadium up. Whether it's from the kicker's perspective or from just an offensive perspective, is there anything in history that you can go back and look at statistically? How do new stadiums perform each year?
Well, in terms of just field goal kicking, I don't know in terms of field goal kicking. What I can say in terms of, let's parlay this into a little bit of crowd noise discussion as well as just the stadium itself. So the surface, from what I have read and seen, the surface of the Rams' new stadium, extremely fast. Okay.
You watch Hard Knocks too.
I saw the Hard Knocks episode. I also did some research on the field, on the surface, analyzed the rubber pellets that are inserted onto the artificial surface there, and they have a significant bounce back rate, just keeping the players fresh and like a springy track for them. So I think that there's a good chance that we see some points in that Sunday night game, Dallas and the LA Rams. But in general, just in terms of the stadium, so let's look at the Minnesota Vikings, for example. They got a new stadium built in 2016, and those architects came in and built that stadium specifically to have a roof on it that would refract the crowd noise back onto the football field. And since they built that stadium, they've had the number one best ATS cover rate in the NFL since they built that new stadium to help with the crowd noise. They aren't going to have that advantage this year. And this is one of the things that we didn't discuss when we talked about the Vikings, but they're not going to have that advantage of the crowd noise. I was doing some research when the NFL announced that they were going to have 70 decibels of crowd noise tailored to to each team that's going to be played in the PA system throughout the course of the game. And they're not allowed to, talking to some coaches, they're not allowed to cycle that off or on. They're just, so it doesn't matter which team has the ball. That crowd noise is kind of always white noise in the background, playing some effects and some chants and things of that nature. 70 decibels is not very loud. That's the equivalent of like classroom chatter. And I think some of the coaches were worried, well, are we able to get to the line of scrimmage and hear our signals? Will the quarterback have to scream? They were practicing in a lot of different ranges of decibels. 70 is going to be okay for the quarterback to communicate with the other players, but it is going, the stadiums that are more designed to reflect crowd noise, those teams that play in those stadiums are going to be hurt more than teams that are used to having no fans like the Chargers were.
Yeah. I'm just thinking now you say 70 decibels, the Seahawks are for sure going to find a way to make it like 120 and cheat their way through it. All right, so are you a believer in Mitch, the greatest comeback story of all time?
I am a believer in what they're looking to do there with Mitch. I will
Let's
tell
go.
you this.
That's a roundabout yes.
It's a roundabout yes, but I will tell you this. This offseason made it very difficult to hold a quarterback battle. Let's talk about Foles, for example. Coming in there, even though he had a little bit of familiarity with it, very difficult to perform well and to beat out a guy who's very comfortable and has been playing in this offense for several years. I think if there was a regular offseason, the result of the battle may have been a little bit different. But
I disagree. I think there was no chance Foles was ever going to win the starting job just because you can't give the starting job to Foles and then bring Mitch in. You can go the other way. Like, Mitch can now lose it, and it'd be like, all right, it's over. But if you give the job to Foles week one, Mitch is never coming back from that. Like, it's over, so now you don't have a backup either.
That is 100% correct from what we think from the outside, but I can tell you that from the inside, they really were hoping that it was going to be a situation where Foles would just look really good. I mean, you don't go out and pay a guy money and hope that he's just going to sit as your backup. They were expecting more than what they got out of him, but they're realizing we're not going to stress it too much. And I kind of was of the mindset, like, why announce it this early? Why not wait till the very end? Make Matt Patricia, they're playing the Detroit Lions week one. Why not make Matt Patricia prepare for both guys, not know who it is? But they wanted to announce it as an internal vote of confidence, and some of the players needed to know. And what the other problem with having a quarterback battle with this type of offseason with so few practices is that now you're splitting reps. And so even Mitch, who's going to be the starter, did not get as many reps as he would have if they just said, Foles, you're going to rest and watch Mitch. You might play later. Mitch is going to take all the first team reps. They weren't able to do that. So he had much fewer reps than like Tom Brady down in Tampa this year or Drew Brees in New Orleans. So I think that's going to be I'm hoping that he comes out looking pretty good week one. I think that they're doing some things that are going to make this team a little bit less predictable and more exciting. I'll just say that. I think this is a team headed in the right direction with some of the things they're going to be doing from a play calling perspective. And I've got high hopes. Mitch has had, Big Cat, you know this, Mitch has done well against the Lions. So hopefully he gets the season started off really well week one.
11 tight ends on the field at the same time. Is that what they're looking at doing? What formation would that be? Would that be like 0-1-1-1 personnel?
Actually, it'll be 0-0, and then you'd have to get rid of all the linemen too. Well, you don't have quarterbacks either, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think that anybody's ever tried that.
Cole Kmet's going to be fucking sick. I know it. Jimmy Graham's washed up, but whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you bring in a guy like Jimmy, you haven't used him a lot this preseason. What is he going to look like? That's where I think there could be a little bit of miscommunications or things of that nature, a play or two here or there. But at the end of the day, these guys are football players, and I think that they're going to be able to do well enough offensively. And I'm curious to see the lack of familiarity on the defensive side of the football. I think the Detroit Lions are starting 5 new players on the defensive side of the ball, including 3 new players in the secondary. There is the potential to have a lot of miscommunication on these defenses, especially if you stay at a high tempo and you're using a lot of misdirection, whether it's pre-snap or post-snap, like play action type motions involved. I think that there's a good chance that you're going to cause confusion on the defenses.
What about in the AFC, the number 1 overall pick, our good friend Joe Burrow, so don't trash him. We don't really know what Zach Taylor's offense is going to look like with Joe Burrow, but I guess you could probably make an educated guess of what they're going to try to do with him. Are you optimistic for his rookie season, or is this going to be one of those things where it's like he's on a bad team, he's going to do his best, and he's going to have to get through it, and don't expect too much?
I think anything we get from him is going to be a positive. Like, I do think there's low expectations of the Bengals in general just because of who they've been for several years. But I think it is a team that could come out and surprise a little bit. They did really poorly in one-score games last year. The thing I'm most concerned with the coaching staff there is their tendencies last season to just throw out 11 personnel out onto the field and not really make adjustments, even if your starting wide receivers, your number 2 wide receiver aren't healthy, aren't up, aren't active. They just continue to throw 11 personnel out on the football field instead of making adjustments. They're also way too predictable. When they had Tyler Eifert, who's now down in Jacksonville, so they don't have to worry about this, but when Tyler Eifert was out there, Zach Taylor was calling passes on over 80% of the plays, just when he's standing out on the football field. Defenses can pick up on these tells. I mean, defenses go wildly giddy when they're getting a tell that's like 65 to 70% odds. And when you throw them out there an 80% of the time, you're passing the football, it's just way, way, way too predictable. So I hope Zach Taylor does some things that aren't just 11 personnel all the time and being predictable with his tight ends this season. But I have a lot of hopes long-term. Obviously, I think his career is going to be great for Joe Burrow. And that receiving core and that unit that they've got there is actually sneaky good. They play in a tough division, of course, right? So we can't expect too many great things. But this is a team that I think could go over their win total potentially.
Okay, so Warren Sharp, everyone go follow him, Sharp Football. I had one last question. You're going to have to give us a prediction. I want to go more than just the Super Bowl. Can you give us your championship games and then Super Bowl and Super Bowl champion? And, of course, if you get it wrong, we'll just make fun of you a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so from the NFC, let's start there first. These aren't teams necessarily that I'm rooting for, but where I think we're going to go. I think Dallas is going to be there, and it's tough for me whether it's going to be the Saints, the Seahawks, or the Niners. So I'm throwing out 3 teams there, but I like all 3 of those teams relatively equally.
No Bucks. I forgot to mention, we haven't even talked about that. Are you not buying the Bucks super team, dream team?
I really like Bruce Arians as a coach. I'm so super interested to see how the depth of target thing is going to work for Brady and his top receivers. And I do think that defense is phenomenal. One of the most underrated defenses. Todd Bowles did a phenomenal job with them last season. I just think that it's hard in this type of an off season. And while I'm not betting against Brady, I'm not betting that they don't make the playoffs, nor am I betting that they can't win that division. I just think that I'm not betting on him this season. I just think it's a tough season to do that. And I think some of the things that the Saints did this offseason are getting overlooked as well. But some of the pieces that they added there, I think are pretty good. You do have questions about Drew Brees' arm, et cetera. Any quarterback who's that old, you're going to. In a perfect world, I would love to see Russell Wilson get a shot to go back there. But I'm worried about some of the things in their pass rush. But if you're twisting my arm, I guess I probably will go the Seahawks against the Cowboys.
Wow.
And then over in the AFC, it's tough, but I think I'm going to have to go with just the 2 best teams. These are the 2 teams that are head and shoulders above anybody else in the entire league.
The Bills and
I like the Bills. I think the Bill. I do like the Bills. I have high hopes for them. I like Daboll. I like Josh Allen. I think that they're going to be fine this season. But I'm going to go with the Ravens and I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
Okay.
And the key to who is going to ultimately win that matchup is, number 1, how much has Earl Thomas missed? But number 2, can Lamar Jackson make those types of throws that Harbaugh wants him to when the defense stacks the box and they need to open things up a little bit down the field? He was making those on occasion last year. He had a phenomenal passing season last year. I mean, I was on him before the season even started as being an MVP candidate. But I want him to be able to do those things when they need him to do it, as opposed to just, bam, big play. We're up by 20, another huge play. Like, these are in must-have situations. I want him to be able to hit those passes. I think he's worked on it. I think they've got some receivers there. I'll go. It's easy to just say the Chiefs, so I'm not going to go the Chiefs to win. I think the Ravens may have a better record than the Chiefs, and that is going to be a big difference, having that home field advantage. The other thing about the Ravens late in the season, they have a mini bye. So they play on a Thursday. I believe it's the Thursday either of Thanksgiving or right after Thanksgiving against the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken. And then they don't play again until the following Monday night. And this is like week 13. So they have like a mini bye, like a nice little rest heading into that Monday night game. If they can win more games than the Chiefs, or at least hold the tiebreaker in order to be able to be that number one seed with only one team getting a bye this postseason, having that mini bye and then having a first round bye is just such a massive edge. And I think that would give them the slight upper hand over the Chiefs this year. So I'm going to go Baltimore in the Super Bowl. And I said that they had some value, so I'll stick with it. But, well, I'll change my mind. I'm going to go Seattle. I'm going to go Baltimore and Seattle. Russ versus Lamar Jackson for the Super Bowl.
Wow. Oh, yeah, you are right. So it's Cowboys on 12-3. No, you're wrong. Wait, they have Cowboys on a Thursday after Thanksgiving, and then they have the Browns the Monday night after that. So they have 11 days off. By the way, you did just fuck me up because I forgot about the 7, even though I mentioned it earlier, the fact there's only one bye this year. Because when you said home field advantage, I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that is monumental now for that team to not have to play an extra game.
It is such an advantage this season because only one team in each conference gets that bye. It's going to be so big for whatever team. And this is why I think usually we get to the last Kevin Harlan was calling that week 17 game where the Dolphins upset the Patriots in New England and allowed the Chiefs to have home field advantage. He was calling the Chiefs game and calling the Patriots game at the same time. That was phenomenal, but we are going to see very competitive week 16, week 17 games because only one team gets that bye.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what about the Patriots, the other side of that whole Bucs equation? Do you have any idea what Belichick is going to do with Cam Newton this year? Because he's not going to use him the same way that he used Brady, and then there's also the question mark about is Cam healthy? Is his shoulder okay?
Yeah, 100%. I think Cam is healthy. I do, from what I've heard, what I've seen, and what I've read, Cam's shoulder is back to being totally normal. So that shouldn't be an issue. I think that they're going to be able to do a lot more things this year with him than they weren't able to do with Brady, obviously. But the thing that is going to be really interesting is the way that defenses have to play them, because and not enough people are discussing the fact, they don't have good weapons this year and they didn't have good weapons last year, and Cam's not as good of a pure passer as Brady. So how could this offense be anything but good? It's going to be much worse than what it was last year. But on the other side of that, because you have Tom Brady out there and he never runs the football, defenses play him a little bit differently. And against 11 personnel, they tend to play dime. A lot of DBs out on the field. Let's just put it in layman's terms. A lot of DBs out on the field. They tend to play dime 17% of the time. But when you're playing against Cam Newton, they can't throw as many DBs out on the field. They only play dime 7% of the time. They have extra linebackers out on the field. It gives more opportunities for Cam to find targets and mismatches pre-snap and hit these guys. And secondly, the one thing about the Patriots when they had Tom Brady, he was so good at audibling them into run plays against light boxes. By that, I mean the number of defenders that are close enough to the line of scrimmage to be involved in tackling a defender. They call that the box. And typically it's 7 men inside the box. You got 4 down linemen, 3 linebackers, or 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. But he would run the ball very frequently against light boxes, 6 men in that box, and they did really well. They were like a top 2 offense running the football. But when you put 7 men in the box or even 8 men in the box, put an extra defender, they were just merely average. With Cam Newton, the way that he can run the ball, he can still have success whether there's a 7th man in the box or an 8th man in the box. With the way that they're able to run the football, with the read options that he's able to do, they leave a defender at the edge just completely unblocked. Look at what the guy's going to do and hand the ball off or keep it based upon that. You don't even have to block that guy. It's just a big advantage. That's why they're a top 3 run offense, no matter how many men are inside of the box in 2018 when Cam was actually playing the full season. So I think they're going to be able to do a lot. But here's my concern, PFT. The issue is all the opt-outs from COVID. They hit this team like a landslide, and that defense was not as good as what they looked the first half of the season. If you remember back to last season, everybody's talking about, oh, this is the best team, like statistically in
turnover
the NFL
luck.
History. Everybody was talking about that. The fact was they were playing crappy offenses. They played the Dallas Cowboys in a monsoon. They played some teams in windstorms. We saw once the weather turned, it wasn't quite as bad. And once they started playing good offenses, they were getting lit up. I mean, the Ravens took them to the woodshed. The Chiefs had success against them. So this is a team I think that they're going to be very competitive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that they're only going to win 6 or 7 games here, but we just have to limit our expectations because of so many issues they're dealing with from the defensive side of the football and just a lack of talent offensively.
Yeah. They lost Devlin last year, and they lost Danny Vitale. He was an opt-out. That was probably one of the ones that you were talking about, the offensive weapon fullback.
The fullbacks, I'm telling you, if you look at the teams, I mean, I know you retweeted this, so I know you saw this, but we got to get it on this episode. Of the 6 teams that used the most fullbacks last season, 5 of those 6 made it to the playoffs. Like, fullbacks are very, very valuable, especially when defenses are a little bit lighter. And think about this. We're talking about teams maybe not tackling quite as well, maybe being winded a little bit early. Think about the teams that have those fullbacks out there to start the year, wearing down those teams, beating on them into the second half. I think that could be an edge.
This is the year of the fullback. Calling it right now, 2020. Put it in stone.
All right. Well, Warren, thank you so much. I'm sure we'll talk to you again throughout the season. We appreciate you doing this with us. And everyone, if you're not following Warren already, Sharp Football on Twitter, do it right now because it is a must-have. And he has a website that has some great stuff if you want to pay throughout the year. He's always got updated stuff, some betting tips, everything. So go check it out at Sharp Football. Warren, thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Grab your free book, too, if you guys want a book.
Yes.
That interview with Warren Sharp was brought to you by our very good friends over at Roman and their Roman Swipes. Most guys have tried different ways to last longer in bed. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance in your head, counting backwards from 10, thinking about baseball, they don't always work. The folks over at Roman, an online men's health company, are changing the game with Roman Swipes. It's the secret to longer-lasting sex. Roman Swipes are a clinically proven way to last longer in bed. They're effective, they're easy to use, and they're fast-acting, but they don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipes packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. They're super easy to use. Just take the swipes out, swipe it on, let it dry, you're good to go. That's it. So go to getroman.com/take. Get your first month of swipes for just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's getroman.com/take. And now, our good friend and new, perhaps, Blake of the Year, Blake Anderson.
Okay, we now welcome on a very special guest. He is an actor, comedian, producer, fashion designer, and he's got a new movie out on Hulu. It is Blake Anderson. The new movie's called Woke. It's out on September 9th, correct?
Yes, it's a series.
Series. And I want to start there because I watched the trailer. When was this filmed? When was this created? I assume a year ago?
I mean, we originally shot the pilot like almost 2 years ago, but we completed filming for this season right around the beginning of this year.
So have you watched everything, not to get too heavy, but everything that has gone on in this country and been like, whoa, this show is now becoming more and more in with the times and what's going on by the second?
Yeah, I mean, part of that is pretty sad,
yes,
that it's so relevant now. But also, I mean, just the fact that this was a show that was in production and being made back then is just, I think, a testament to why, these conversations that we're having have needed to be had for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. my questions are mostly based around your hair because you and I share a look, kind of. I get tagged in a lot of pictures of you online. I can't grow the mustache. That's one big fault that I have. But I'm just curious about the hair. What kind of product do you use? Because you've got some volume that I struggle to get. So the width is tough for me.
Yeah, sorry. My hair's a little wet. That's my bad. I was swimming. But I think I usually say that the secret to the volume of my hair is I have a Jeep with no top. Yeah. So the product I use is American Wind.
I love it. Yeah, it's like you're blow drying your hair all the time whenever you run an errand.
There you go.
How often do you get stopped, like going through airport security or checked for drugs or profiled because of the hair?
Ooh, not as much as you would think, but we filmed Woke in Vancouver, and I definitely felt like they put me through the immigration process, and I took a little longer than the rest of the people.
Yeah, I find it, at least for me, like I have people who approach me. If they don't mistake me from a woman from behind, they'll approach me. Does that happen to you too?
Yes, I've been mistaken for a woman in over 3 different languages.
Nice. Oh, wow.
What's the most polite sounding one to get mistaken for a woman in?
In Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. And also, for some reason, it happens a lot at the Cheesecake Factory. I don't know why.
Well, we had it. PFT had it. We went to a Brazilian steakhouse, and that was an all-time one when our waitress came up and said, "Miss, are you done with this?" Mm-hmm. And we just that was basically he knew at that moment that the rest of the night was over for him because it became a roast. But it's good to know that happens to any guy with long hair.
Yeah, and that's like a major reason that I have this weird mustache on my face is just to help old people with my gender identity.
It's very true. Like I intentionally keep a little bit of stubble going on at all times, so there's never like any real questions. Because if I'm a baby face, then it's the most embarrassing part is if somebody mistakes you for a woman from behind and you turn around, and then they have that second of pause where they're not totally sure whether or not they should apologize yet. Like maybe he's just a really ugly woman. And so I feel like it stops a lot of conflict before it starts.
Yeah, I've had I had an old guy. I was like at a thrift store checking out, and and the cashier asked who was next, and the old guy was like, she, I don't know what he is. Just said it like point blank. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm going to remember that forever.
I think maybe the worst part about the Brazilian steakhouse was they give you cards that have a green side and a red side. So there's really no need for them to come over and see if you're done eating or not, because I'm telling them with a color-coded system. But this person came over and was just like, "Hey, miss, are you done with your meat?"
We've never seen a woman eat this much steak.
Yeah.
What the hell is going on right now?
What is she?
Yeah. So, Blake, we want to obviously get into Workaholics in your entire career, but I wanted to start at the beginning because we're fascinated by this all the time when we have someone on who's similar age. I think you're 34. Are you 35?
35.
Okay, so we're also 35, and it's always fun to talk to someone in that age group where we're kind of the last generation of people who remember life without social media but then get the benefit of social media when we're like 18, 19, 20 years old. Have you had that realization that if you were born 20 years earlier, you might not have had a break, coming up on YouTube and being able to make comedy, or if you were born 10 years later, you'd probably be like stuck making TikToks instead of, comedy that's maybe thought out a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely think about that stuff all the time because I feel for some of these like TikTokers to get in like the business now would be, I think, rough.
Yeah.
Because I know like a lot of the way we came up, but like executives at Comedy Central saw like sketches we were putting up on YouTube, but that was back when, it was still a relatively like small pond to choose from. Like the cream rose to the top or whatever the fucking saying is. But like with like TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, like there's so much content being made. Like to be discovered, I imagine, would be so tough.
And not only that, but I find myself suffering from this, but like the attention spans of everyone has completely like been evaporated. So even thinking about, like early 2000s, when you would go on YouTube and watch a 15-minute comedy, sketch or a 10-minute comedy sketch, that doesn't happen anymore.
No, to me, those were kind of like the glory days when there was actually like sketch groups, like putting out like really hilarious stuff. Like that's kind of how we saw like Lonely Island doing their thing. I mean, they're pretty clear about being like, yeah, we were the guys that kind of like put YouTube on the map, but they really were. It was like, whoa, look at these guys putting up like original sketches and getting attention and then getting SNL. It was just like mind blowing.
Yeah. I remember like Human Giant was coming up around the same time. And the way that you would get introduced by a friend, and maybe they put something on their Facebook profile or their wall or whatever you call it at the time, and then you'd click through their other videos, and that's how you'd find out. I don't think the algorithm back on in those days on YouTube was as strong as it is now. So like you had to be directly linked to one of these profiles. So how did you go about like promoting your group's YouTube profile and all your videos when you didn't have like the ability to go mega viral on, you post it to Twitter and it gets 10,000 retweets?
Oh, dude, we were like notoriously terrible at promoting, like absolutely terrible. We got so fucking lucky with like being seen by the people we were seen by at Comedy Central. Even like the email that like the executive at Comedy Central sent us, we didn't find till like 3 months later because we wouldn't even check our account's emails. And we're like, guys, come in here. Holy shit. We have a meeting at Comedy Central 3 months ago.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah.
So Workaholics obviously had tremendous success and is, a cult classic more than that because it was obviously on Comedy Central. When you guys decided to end it, though, was that a hard decision to make? Was there kind of a push and pull between the group of like some wanted to keep going and some didn't? How'd you guys figure that out?
We definitely decided as a group to stop. I mean, like, we just want to start like getting into movies. We wanted to get into the next step, even like Kyle Newacek, our director, like we wanted to get him to that next level too. Like when you start to get to the later seasons of a show, we were always just trying, it's just the nature of us to like go bigger and better and like bigger stunts, more, better cameos. And in television, you can only blow up your budget so much before the network's like, yeah, you can't do that stuff. Right. So we just call like movies as like the next step. So shortly after Workaholics, we went to Netflix and did Game Over Man. And that was kind of like, we were seen as like, oh, this will be our next venue.
Right. So follow up to that. Has there been anything said, or is it kind of a silent understanding of like if any one of you needs a quick cash grab, like you can do like a Rolling Stones when you're 50 and be like, let's bring Workaholics back. Like if Seinfeld came back tomorrow, it would make so much money. Do you have that in the back of your mind? Like if shit hits the fan, I could always just like drag everyone and be like, let's do Workaholics again for one like reunion season.
Well, we have always been very adamant in saying that Workaholics gets like 12 times more funnier when we're all 50 or like even older and still living together. And I'm just bald on the top of my head. There's just storylines for days.
Okay, so it's going to happen.
It should happen.
Workaholics is not done. It's just on like a 25-year hiatus.
25 to 30 to 40 year hiatus.
Perfect. Breaking news.
Whoever's career is going the worst at that point will lobby the others to reunite. It's like Praz one day is going to really ask Lauryn Hill and Wyclef to like reunite the Fugees. You know?
And you could, or you could also like, if the other guys don't want to do it, you could just get close like fill-ins and have it. And bands do that all the time. Grateful Dead's still touring, and Jerry Garcia's been dead for 25 years.
Yeah, come on. Alice in Chains, they never stopped.
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Or you can get like a Filipino kid that sings for Journey right now?
Right.
Yeah, you can just like mix and match.
Yeah, Lynyrd Skynyrd. I think there's who's I know the Allman Brothers, there's like only one Allman left, or one person left.
Yeah, Van Halen keeps cycling.
Yeah, they're like, as long as we got one, even if it's like a nephew of one, you're good.
I like that band name too. Only one almond left.
Yes, only one almond left. I think there might not be any almonds left.
You guys,
shit,
I
know.
You did a great job of like nailing all the small stuff about the sorrow or like the drear, the hopelessness sometimes that comes along with working an office job, like a dead-end telemarketing job in your early to mid-20s. And like you did a great job making fun of all that stuff. I'm wondering which one of you guys had the shittiest job that gave you that insight to be able to write that stuff.
Well, the largest reason that we were telemarketers in the show is because both Adam and Anders were telemarketers at one point in their life. So we're like, because we were like, man, we want these guys to have like a shitty job. And they're like, we know just the job.
Yep.
It's like, okay.
I did that for a little bit too. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Oh, it's a soul suck, right?
Yes.
It's all I left smile and dial.
It's the only job that I left in the middle of a shift because I made enough to cover my rent, and I was like, I'm not coming back.
Yeah, and it's like a large portion of the job is like deceit and lying and stealing from old people. It's terrible.
Calling people literally at dinner and being like, I know you're at dinner right now, but that's kind of my job.
Yeah, just give me your credit card and this can all be over.
And when you're not lying to them actively, you're calling them up and just getting hung up on instantly. You deal with rejection so much in the telemarketing. Did you consider doing like a method acting thing where you embedded yourself secretly in a telemarketing firm to learn the job?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I have no desire ever to do that.
Wait, where did Anders telemarket?
I think he was like doing something for like, I want to say like the Democratic Party back in the day.
Phone banking?
Yeah, like he was like pounding the pavement for, I don't know who the hell it was.
Man. I worked at a place one time, and on like the second day, one of my coworkers brought in his own phone. And people were like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, yeah, like a mercenary brings in their own rifle. I bring in my own phone to my job. And I'm like, this is not good.
It's like bringing in your own pool stick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or your own bowling ball. Yeah.
Right.
It worked because I was intimidated as fuck. I was like, I can't compete with this guy.
Yeah.
Also, when your coworkers talking about mercenaries bringing their own guns, I would be intimidated as well.
Good reason to walk out the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
So speaking of our collective age of 35, you got to voice Michelangelo. Was that like the coolest thing ever? Because even as a 35-year-old, I'm like, holy shit, dude. Now, I was a Raphael guy, but still, you got to voice Michelangelo.
Oh, for sure. I'll take it. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually for this really like weird project. It like I feel like it was some kind of anniversary for the Ninja Turtles, and like Nickelodeon was like getting all these different artists to do like a scene in the Ninja Turtle style. Like the person who did our animation was the person who did like Invader Zim. So it was like me, Durs, and Adam getting to voice the Turtles for this one scene. And I was like, damn, dude, give us a series because we freaking killed it.
Yeah. But that's got to be like, if you're talking about a kid growing up and you're like, when you grow up, I want to be Michelangelo. I want to be the cool party dude who eats pizza. And then you got cast as that. That has to be the greatest accomplishment of your life, right?
I was ready to retire on top. Yeah. I was like, okay, this is it. I'm done here.
You got typecast as Michelangelo.
Like, honestly, everything I've ever trained for, it all came to fruition.
That's got to be a pretty big mind fuck for your parents, too. If they grew or you grew up and they were raising you, watching you watch Michelangelo on TV, and then eventually you become Michelangelo.
Yeah.
They have to actually figure, like, we did an awesome job.
Dude.
Well, and it's a lot of me just shoving it back in their face. Like, I told you to buy me the Michelangelo toys, and I was right.
All that pizza that you said you didn't want to feed me because I was getting chubby in your face. I did it.
Yes.
I told you jelly bean pizza checks out.
Yes.
I was reading that you're a big Bay Area sports guy. Is that true?
Yes. I grew up in the East Bay, so those are my squads. I'm kind of a Sharks, A's, Niners, Warriors fan.
Do you think that Mark Jackson would have won like 6 more titles if he had just stayed on as the coach of the Warriors?
I mean, anything is possible with the power of Christ, okay, guys? That's all I'm going to say.
Does KD's title count?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
2.
Yeah. all day. They count.
But I mean, you also realize like everyone hates you guys. Although now that KD's gone and like Steph has to do it again, I think people will start getting back on the Warriors train.
Everyone, I mean, first off, a lot of basketball fans, especially nowadays, are so petty. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
But like, once all the smoke clears, people are going to look back and be like, God damn, those Warriors were some really cool champions. They were cool, man. That was a great squad.
Yeah.
Do you think it's kind of bullshit that Riley Curry, she'll come out after a win, but she won't be there to face questions from the media after a loss?
I mean, you know, she's not on the payroll, so I don't blame her, dude. I wouldn't want to do that. Those shit's got to be so hard to do, especially after a loss.
Yeah.
Damn, can you imagine?
Yeah.
What about the Niners? You strike me as somebody that George Kittle, we call him Greg, would really appreciate you.
I like to think so. Yeah, when I was growing up, it was the Niners glory days, so I was pretty much a Niner fan through my dad. Like, I have a bunch of baby pictures, just head to toe Niners gear, so I'm pretty hyped on that, especially that they're decent again.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had a all-time drunk injury, which I know wasn't probably funny at the time. You fractured your spine jumping off a roof onto a beer pong table. So it's a two-part question. One is, looking back on that, are you like, that was sick? And number two, did you invent Bill's Mafia? Because you tried to jump through a table on a roof, and like that's kind of their whole deal.
I mean, it's Blake's Mafia, dude.
Yes.
From now on.
Yes.
That's my team. That's my team over there. I'll take that.
Did it suck right away? Because I always love stories of drunk injuries when everyone's kind of been through this, where you get injured when you're drunk and you're like, I'm good. I think I'm good. Like, this is not a big deal. And then you start to sober up and you're like, oh, fuck, this is a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I was definitely like crossfaded. I had things in my system. It happened. Hurt very, 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 very bad. But I definitely stood up, walked up the stairs, tried to keep partying, tried to DJ another song because it was at my house party. And I just noticed that I was like slouching really bad.
Oh, my God.
I stood up straight, and that's when it was just like, you know, like in a movie, the violence thing that's like,
yeah,
that's what my body felt like. And I was like, okay, guys, I'm going to bed.
So that's what you have to do at that point. You fall asleep and you're like, maybe when I'm sober, all this pain will be completely gone.
Yeah.
You don't think about going to the hospital in that moment.
No, my whole thing was I'm going to try to sleep it off.
Yeah.
And, so I think I took some NyQuil and just tried to pass out.
Was there any video footage of this incident?
Oh, yeah, you can YouTube it. I don't do it too much because it hurt. It was definitely on TMZ.
Yeah, I love the pass out because I've had that too, where then you also wake up in the middle of the night and you're like, I think I'm doing okay, and then you're like, oh fuck, it still hurt. Let me get 4 more hours of sleep and my spine will be better. And then you wake up again and you're like, the first like few steps, you're like, I think I'm healed, and then the pain just starts rushing. You're like, no, this is fucked.
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy night. I had to because I did wake up because I had to take a piss. I'd been drinking all night, and I had to army crawl to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, maybe if I sleep a couple more hours, I'll be cool. And then when I woke up and it was still really bad, that's when I'm like, all right, I got to call my dad.
Call my dad. Not go to the hospital. Call my dad.
What was your dad's advice?
Well, he got there and he was just like, yeah, I think we got to call 911, dude.
Yeah.
I like that you needed confirmation.
Well, what was wild is the party was at me and Adam's house. So when my dad came in so early, there's still people passed out in the house,
right,
all around.
Right.
And they're like, oh shit, somebody's dad's here.
That was the Workaholics house, right?
It was a house after, Adam and I, we did live together in the Workaholics house, but then we were shooting there, and it was also infested with rats and stuff. It was just too much of a mind fuck to live there. And me and Adam weren't done being fun ass roommates yet, so we're like, yo, let's kind of cash out on a dope little Hollywood Hills house. And that was the one where all the shit went down.
That's very relatable too. Being like those last couple years, we're like, yo, I think we should like just keep living together and being bros and partying all the time. Like we got a couple more years in this run.
Yeah, we knew that this was probably our last stand, and we're like, let's like drop some of this season 1 cash on a dope little crib.
Now it makes sense that you got that injury. Like you add it all up, you drop the cash. It's your last stand. You kind of have to jump off that roof.
Dude, not to mention that party was fucking sick. It was like Flying Lotus was like DJing. Like all of Odd Future was there. I think like Mindy Kaling randomly showed up. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's a nice little analogy for what you were saying about Workaholics, which is like every season you had to build it up bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so it's time to call it a watch. Probably jumping off the roof in that moment might have been the like, okay, maybe we should get our own places.
Yeah, it almost took me getting paralyzed to realize it might be time to pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you guys, it always struck me in, especially like the early seasons, there's always drinking involved, always partying involved in the Workaholics house. Would you ever write scenes being like, yo, we should have like a party scene in this one episode just so you didn't have to leave your house, just so you could like film while you were sitting in your house drinking a beer?
Well, that was like a running joke in the first couple seasons when we were still living in the house. We would we'd party once you wrap shooting, or over the weekends we'd play beer pong all weekend or whatever. And we would just throw trash around the house and tell people you could throw trash anywhere. We'd be like, yo, that's set decoration. Don't even worry about it. That's probably why we had rats.
Yeah. And that's also living the dream where it all just becomes part of like the bit.
Yeah, totally.
That's incredible. So I know that people have always, and you guys kind of embraced it, but people would say like, oh, Workaholics is Always Sunny ripoff. How did you guys consciously like, listen, we're fans of Always Sunny. We're not ripping anyone off. Like, it's not going to bother us when people say that.
I mean, I think we've been pretty open with saying like, Always Sunny is a large reason of why we even had the show. Like, I know we would definitely watch Always Sunny and be like, whoa, these dudes are freaking killing it. And even as like the seasons went on, because people would be like, dude, you guys got a collab or whatever. We like went over to the Sunny dudes, and because they're really good about like contracts and money, and we're just like dumb as hell when it comes to that kind of stuff. So we kind of would go to them for guidance. Durs even wore like a Patty's Pub shirt in one of our episodes. So it was never any beef. I mean, they're super different shows. We're just like a group of comedic white guys, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I love that though, because I feel like as the internet progresses, people get very territorial, and there's very much like this guy had it first, you can't do this. And people are funny. There's parallel thinking. And again, you guys you're not the same show at all. But I appreciate like embracing it and looking at the positive instead of like this negative, cynical cycle that starts on the internet.
Well, and I think one of your duties as a comedian or whatever is to be aware of the other people within your comedic circle, especially if it's people you respect. So there was definitely multiple times in the room where you'd be like, they already did that on Sunny.
Right.
Kind of like, or shit, South Park already did that. Like, it's part of it. You can't avoid it all because everything's been done. But as long as you're like, try to be aware and not rip people off, it's all good.
What's the difference between a sketch comedy group and a sketch comedy troupe? I guess what I'm asking is, what is a troupe? I always hear that word. I never know what it really
troupe
is.
Is like some Renaissance fair bullshit, man. I don't know who's running in troops anymore. Come on.
Yeah, I know. But every time I see like a comedy group online, it always refers to them as a troupe. And it fucks with my head for a second because I'm like, what are you, madrigals?
I don't blame you. I think that just is some Shakespearean hoity-toity bullshit, man. I don't know. Just be what you are. You're a damn group. Get over yourself.
When you were coming up with a name for your group, not your troupe, did you ever have like any self-consciousness about it, being like, we're a comedy group, we have to have a name that's like really, really fucking funny because that's their first impression of us?
Would you say, like, are you talking about, like, mail-order comedy?
Yeah.
Our internet collabo?
Yeah, like, anytime you come up with a name like that for a comedy group, I feel like that's a decision that you can very easily overthink because you have to try to be, like, super funny with it.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're terrible with marketing and all that stuff. That just kind of arose from like, we initially made this weird, way too long, like 30-minute pilot for YouTube where the whole thing behind it is like, oh, it's this sketch show where people send in their sketch ideas through the mail. Wasn't even email, like through the mail. And we take whatever letters we get and that is a sketch. That's where the name came from, and it just stuck. We never rebranded.
So I had this is kind of a dumb question, but I'm curious about in Hollywood. I assume you have an agent, and you've been in a bunch of different movies. But when you're starting your career as in movies, you were in Neighbors, which I actually have like a soft spot for the movie Neighbors because I did one of the worst advertising deals ever. I played beer pong with the other Franco brother and McLovin at University of Illinois. But you played beer pong guy number 2 at Neighbors.
Yes.
Does your agent call you up and like, yo, I got you a huge part, beer pong guy number 2?
Yeah, that is like a weird industry thing where like sometimes you'll get like calls when you're writing or creating a character for somebody and they make you rename the person a name. Like it'll be like, yeah, he doesn't want to be sexy guy 7. Can he have a name? And it's like, sure. Can he play the part of Jesse? It's still the same exact role.
Right.
It feels better to have a name though.
Yeah, you know what? That's something I'll bring to the table. You call me beer pong player number 2, but I have my story. As an actor, I bring all of that to my character.
When you're filming your scene, were you aware of who beer pong number 1 and 3 and 4 were?
Adam made it very clear he was beer pong number 1.
Okay, all right, okay, yeah, because that's got to be like that. Definitely has to. There's got to be some like turf battles over who's beer pong guy number 1 versus 2.
Oh, for sure. It's a complete ego trip, and he still rubs it in to this day.
Were you actually drinking real beer during that shot?
I don't shit. I can't even recall. Probably not if I had to guess, but we only had to film like that one like flashback scene. So we probably should have been drinking real beer.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Just like bring your own, even if it's not provided to you on set, really get into the method situation on that one.
Just roll with a keg on every set.
Yeah. Yes. Why not?
Yes.
Yeah. Ride the wave.
I also read that you are a big fan of Lil B, the bass god. Have you met him?
Sure. I have. I've had him in my home.
Have you asked him to put a curse on anybody?
That's like that would be like asking a deity to curse something. I don't mess with that, man. Mm-hmm. I let it figure itself out for sure.
What's he like?
He's an interesting guy. Definitely was like initially trying to like collab with him, but he has like really out there ideas. One of the cool things though is when he did come over to my house, he was kind of like into photography at the time, and he's actually the guy who took my IMDb photo that I used.
Oh wow. That's a fun fact.
Is that on his IMDb?
That's on mine.
No, but him taking the photo.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't even know if Lil B has an IMDb.
We got to make it and just have it be the only thing is he took Blake Anderson's IMDb photo. Photo.
He did a great job. I'm super proud of him.
You had a quote. I have to know the answer to this. So you had a quote talking about how you're not like a smoke weed and write a script guy. You kind of turn it off. And you said if you're smoking, you want your brain to sizzle and want to beat a video game you can beat with your eyes closed. What game is that?
Contra.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's just like turn it on. I can get it done without the up, down, down code. I got that, bro.
All right. What any other games that you feel confident that you could beat like very, very easily?
Like full completion, beat the game. All those Marios are pretty easy for me as well. It's just like I've been with Nintendo my whole life, so I'm good on Nintendo games.
Yeah, yeah. That's a sick
But for
brag.
sure, Contra's my go-to. Like I could knock that one out of the park.
Just zone out and just dominate it and feel like a god.
Yeah, just keep going.
I like that.
Like the game just resets. Endless loop.
All right, so I had one last question. It's the BarkBox question. Go to barkbox.com/take to get a free extra toy in every box, $60 value when you sign up. So we're talking to Blake Anderson. He's got a new series out on Hulu September 9th called Woke. Everyone go watch it. So we've actually spent this entire interview with an elephant in our room. Okay. You had no idea. We have a competition that we are now, I think we've done it 3 years in a row, so next year will be the 4th year. And it's Blake of the Year is the competition.
I've caught wind of this.
Yes. So last 2 years, Blake Griffin has won. Blake Bortles won the first year. We also have Brooks Koepka, who we've made an honorary Blake because he's just a chill-ass dude. So cool. You've heard of it, but I guess how we figure out if he's like, I think he's officially a Blake anyway, just because he's chill.
What was the last time that you got really upset, and what was that about?
I don't know. It's been a minute since I flew off the handle on somebody. It's hard to ruffle my feathers.
Okay. What about, do you play any sports?
I love sports. It's been a while. The whole broken back thing stopped me playing basketball for a while.
It's a pretty Blake move.
Kind of just take it or leave it.
Jumping off a roof onto a beer pong table.
Yeah.
What were your grades like?
My grades?
Yeah.
They got worse as time went on, but I was kissing a 3.0, I think.
Okay.
That's like right in the sweet spot.
That also sounds like he's lying, which is like.
Did you actually have like a
5?
Or I think he's lying the other way. I think he was like a 3.5.
Ooh, no, dude. I'm not lying. I failed math once.
Blakes don't lie, so that's good. Do you care what other people think of you, like in general?
In my core being, no, not at all. But as a public figure, I do have my responsibility.
Okay, all right. So that is the number. Like that is the biggest sign of a Blake is just being like I don't care.
That's a very Blake. It's I don't care, but I have to pretend like I care for other people.
Yeah, like I know societal norms say that I have to be like, yeah, I care.
Hey, man, I care. I'm like, I've got a Tupac mentality.
Yeah.
I care.
Okay.
I
care about the well-being of people for sure.
Now,
I don't care so much about what you think about me.
Yeah. Right. That's also a Blake thing. So now, would you want to be part of the competition?
I would be. I have felt a little slighted by not being included because I've been to parties with Blake Griffin and we have come together as Blakes and done a cool Blake cheer before.
Okay.
What's the Blake cheer?
I was pretty hammered. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I actually think he kind of had a little too much to drink as well, which was really awesome to see an athlete in that kind of mind state.
Well, he's kind of a pussy. He can't really drink that much.
But that's actually the Blake cheer, is that we were so fucked up that we don't really remember the Blake cheer.
Yeah. I think once we get together again, it will just bloom organically.
Right.
Who would you say is your favorite Blake?
I mean, Blake Griffin was always a super cool guy to me. That's why I'm never too upset when he wins. He was like, anytime like a professional athlete takes you under their wing and isn't like giving you a wedgie, it's like, I'm hyped.
Yes.
Okay.
I think you're in. Now, the competition, we might change it next year, but as of right now, it's been we just call each Blake, and whoever picks up fastest wins.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you'll pick up very quickly.
I mean, I'm pretty linked to my phone, so.
Oh, okay.
But if the number isn't in my phone, I'm not answering that.
Okay.
No way.
This has been an elaborate way for us to get your phone number.
Yeah.
We're not recording.
Say
this.
it out loud, and we'll cut it. We'll totally cut it.
For sure. Starts with a 9.
911.
No, I think you're in. The Blake, our Blake contingency has grown stronger, and we. They're pretty much, if you have a Blake, they're like the chillest dudes ever.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, well, at least let me in for like once and like see. Let's just gauge and see where I even line up.
Right, because if you lose, you don't really care. You're Blake.
Yeah, whatever. In the grand scheme of things, it means nothing.
Yeah, right now,
he's actually so Blake that we don't even ever have to talk to him again in our entire life. It'll be like, yeah, I'm in that competition.
Yeah, he's like, well, or you're like a AAA Blake right now, and you're looking for a shot. You're BLAAAKE, and you're like, just give me a shot or whatever.
I don't care.
Hey, man, I'm all about the minor leagues, baby. Let's go.
Yes. All right, well, Blake, this has been awesome.
Can I get a picture next to you?
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it as well. Thanks for talking to me.
That interview with Blake was brought to you by ButcherBox. ButcherBox is back. That's right. It is back. It is a sponsor of Part of My Take again, and you can get ButcherBox delivered to your door. When it comes to meat, quality matters, but there's more to it than texture and taste. There's hidden costs that are associated with low-quality meat. You get worse flavor. Sometimes you have to cook more of it to overcompensate for the fact that it's not as tasty. There's a cost to the environment. High-quality meat, humanely raised meat is way better. It's worth it. Treat yourself good. Eat a high-quality steak instead of buying a cheap cut of stuff at the grocery store. Not everyone has convenient access to high-quality meat. It's hard to find 100% grass-fed, finished beef. It's hard to find free-range organic chicken. It's tough to find heritage breed pork or wild-caught salmon at everyone's grocery store. Not everyone has access to it, but with ButcherBox, you can overcome that. You can get it delivered to your door. It can be expensive and limited when you do find it at a grocery store, but with ButcherBox, they believe that everyone deserves high-quality, humanely sourced meat. ButcherBox is one of our favorite sponsors here. It's always a treat when it shows up at our door. There's a wide variety of meat that we can store right in our freezer, have enough meat for the next month. All their meat is free of antibiotics and added hormones. Each box has 9 to 11 pounds of meat, enough for 24 individual meals. It's packed fresh, it's shipped frozen, and it's vacuum sealed so it stays that way. Every single month, ButcherBox sends a curated selection of this high-quality meat right to your home. It is a no-brainer. It's the best meat shipped right to your door. One less trip to the groceries. They've got pork, heritage pork, free-range chicken, grass-fed and finished beef, wild-caught Alaskan salmon. They've got it all. Some delicious bacon as well. So go to butcherbox.com/take. They're going to toss in 2 pounds of ground beef in every box for the life of your subscription. Right now, ButcherBox is offering new members ground beef for life. Just go to butcherbox.com/take. You're going to get 2 pounds of ground beef in every box for the life of your subscription, only at butcherbox.com/take. And now,
segments. All right, segments. We have Talking Tennis.
My brain's a little bundled. I had a beer. I had September beer number 1 on Friday night.
There you go.
Still feeling the effects of it at Crispy Boy.
All right, Talking Tennis. Novak Djokovic has been kicked out of the U.S. Open for throat punching a line judge with a tennis ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, as the GOAT, you would probably think that he has the most accurate volley.
Easily.
So he was sniping her in the neck, picked her off clean. She hit the ground. She looked like she was going to die for a second.
Yeah, that was an all-time sell job by her. I'm not saying that he should have hit her in the neck. He clearly wasn't meaning to do it. But holy shit. Come on, lady. That was a sell job. I think she's probably a cousin of Roger Federer or something.
I think that tennis players lead the world in making this gesture where they put their hands together like they're saying a prayer. Oh. Whenever they do something bad, they just like start air praying for you real quick.
Yes, not even bad, like just miss a shot.
Yeah.
And oh man, the air prayer. Either way, that was crazy. It's crazy. I didn't even know that was a rule. Tennis has some really good rules, I guess, where you just can't. What's the rule? Jake? Did you know this was going to happen the minute he fucking dome pieced her? I think they should just make a new sport where the ball is always live, and if you hit a lines judge, you get an extra point. So it's like a dodgeball tennis hybrid.
There is debate about whether you should get like a point penalty, a game penalty, even a set.
No, I'm saying you should get a point added on. Like you get
50
points.
It's good to hit
like at any moment you could just turn around and just start fucking like ripping shots.
I disagree.
At the person who called it on my Twitter feed, the human dogs who fetch balls.
What about the ball boys?
Yeah. That's the human dogs that fetch balls.
I mean, she's an authority figure.
No
I think she should be respected. I'm going to make a thin white line flag for respecting officials.
I believe because of COVID, there's less line judges this year. So there'd be more targets
because they all.
What'd you think? Did you think he did it on purpose?
I think the frustration was on purpose. I think hitting her was an accident.
How much do you blame her reflexes or lack thereof?
I think if he hit it and it was 6 inches to the right of her, they would have played on.
What about a ricochet shot on the back of her neck?
Not
Would
as
she
bad.
have needed a brace, like a wrestler in like coming out in a wheelchair?
Yeah, what about the knee though? Like, what if it would have been bounced off her knee and just,
went down a rabbit hole.
Throat? Was the throat the thing that did it in?
Yeah,
it was her cell
the leg, and she just like walks it off. It's like,
right. If it's the face, she could even have a bloody nose, but she'd go back to work.
I was watching.
It's the throat. Anything could happen there.
It's such a funny video.
Like tennis disqualifications on YouTube, and like some guy just made a line judge's leg like gushing blood, and he got DQ'd.
I love the video because it is one of those litmus tests of like how serious do you take your life. That if you're like, oh my God, this is horrendous. This poor lady. Of course, she's fine. If she wasn't fine, I'd have a different tone. But knowing that she's fine, you can now, after the fact, say, that's fucking hilarious.
Couldn't you also make the argument that she proved that she was actually the best line judge in the world? Because they're not supposed to move their head when they're watching the line, right?
True.
They're supposed to stay watching the ball, watching the play until it's over.
It was not midpoint. The ball he hit.
But she's trained to not move out of the way of a ball.
Wasn't she supposed to
did
catch
a great
it?
job.
Wasn't she supposed to catch it? Was she supposed to catch it?
Hands behind your back.
With her mouth.
No, but they hit it back all the time.
Yeah, but that's the ball boys.
Oh, so she's not.
The line judge and ball boys are different people.
Mm-hmm.
Do we not do a gender neutral term for ball boys now?
A ball person.
It may be ball person. I hope I don't get canceled for that.
You probably will. Billy was going to cancel you. Billy's going to clip.
This is interesting for Billy because Djokovic was being a bully, but isn't that a nerd sport?
Oh yeah.
So
where?
Yeah,
I've actually changed my tune on tennis.
Oh yeah, because you don't have any friends and you want to play with PFT, Hank, and Jake.
Yeah, I have no friends.
Right. So that's the only reason you change your tune.
Exactly.
Imagine being the guy at the water cooler with the over and sets in that one.
Oh my God.
Wait, so Djokovic? Actually, you think it was an accident, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Again, I apologize for saying ball boy. Thank
you, Jake.
It's all right.
And there's a long drive to left by Castellanos, and that's going to be a 2-0 ball game.
You fucked up. It's fine.
It's been fun having you on the podcast.
Hank, that is what initially occurred to me. Did you actually have a bet on that game? Because if you
didn't. But I can imagine. I mean, obviously, him being the
Federer and Nadal aren't in this.
Him being the heavy favorite, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, what the fuck?
Money.
Yeah, if you had bet on his opponent in that game, like seeing that disqualification would be an all-time rush.
Oh, this is a great quote. I even see this from Billy's list. He's going to be the bad guy the rest of his career, says John McEnroe of Novak Djokovic. McEnroe's like fingers crossed. Like people are going to know him as the really bad guy in tennis. Like that's clearly like he's going to go around and start giving interviews like, yeah, that's really something bad that like a lot of people are saying he's a bad guy.
Why didn't he just solve this like other tennis players where if you do something bad, you just let people do butts up on you? Mm-hmm. He should have just done like 5 consecutive butts up. Just serve at me.
Should have let her just crack a tennis racket over his head. That would have been fair.
She looks terrified of him in this picture.
Oh yeah,
absolutely terrified.
All right, and then the other segment. That was talking tennis. The other segment we had was way to stay relevant. Joe West. So Joe West kicked Mike Rizzo, GM of the Nats, out of the game on, I think it was Sunday. Now the initial report was because Mike Rizzo wasn't wearing a mask. That's not true. It was because Mike Rizzo was heckling Joe West. And Joe West said he wouldn't take that from players. He actually, I have a quote. It's a very Joe West quote. He said, I wouldn't take it from players, managers, or even Donald Trump, but I'd still vote for him.
That was his quote?
That was his quote.
Thanks for tossing that in there, Joe
throwing
West.
some politics. Wait, I want to make sure I quote it correctly because Joe West, stickler for rules. I wouldn't take that from a player. I wouldn't take that from a manager. If it was Donald Trump, I'd eject him too, but I'd still vote for him. That's his exact quote.
You know how people say, like, Joe West thinks that people go to baseball games to watch Joe West?
They do.
I think he's right.
And I'm 100% in agreement.
I absolutely watch baseball games for Joe West theatrics as an umpire.
This is another litmus test. We have these great litmus tests online where it's like, Joe West, does he bother you to the point where you're actually angry, or can you see the humor in a guy like Joe West thinking that he is literally bigger than the sport?
Yes.
Because if you can't find the humor in Joe West stopping the game, telephoning up, and kicking the GM from the suite out of the game, you got a fucking dump in your pants.
He went barbecue Becky on the Braves.
Yes.
He called the authorities to have this person kicked out. I'm in favor of Joe West doing whatever the fuck he wants. In fact, I think Joe West has gotten a little soft in his older age.
Ooh,
I haven't seen him doing as many of the theatrics as he has in the past. It's been at least 18 months since he got hit in the throat with a throw to second base. Mm-hmm. I would like to see more Joe West involved in these games.
Dude, imagine if Joe West was the lines judge. Joe West, that would not have stopped that tennis match because he can take a tennis ball to the neck.
Natural padding.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He would fucking take a barrage of balls to his neck and just sit there and try to toss you.
Joe West does that after every baseball game. He's like Happy Gilmore going into a batting cage. He just steps in, like hit me in the throat. Mm-hmm. I'll get some practice in.
I just want to get my heart rate up. All right. Do we have anything else? Jadeveon Clowney's on the Titans. That was, by the way, that I kind of wish the Saints had been able to pull off the move they were doing. Did you guys see that? They're trying to do a sign-in trade where a team would sign Jadeveon Clowney for $15 million and then trade him to the Saints and eat $5 million of the contract, and the Saints would trade him a draft pick. Why can't you do that?
So a player goes to a team with the understanding that he's going to fuck over another team but help the team that he's not going to.
No, it helps everyone. So it might have been the Browns. It might not have been, but the Browns would sign Jadeveon Clowney, knowing that they would then immediately trade him to the Saints, and the Saints would trade the Browns a second-round pick.
I love that.
So it's basically selling your pick because the Browns would then pay $5 million, and the Saints would pay $10 million. So Jadeveon Clowney would get his 15, but the Saints would get under the cap. So it's selling your pick.
Somehow Sam Bradford is going to be sold for a first-round pick.
Sean McVay is going to figure this out, and he's going to fucking sell all of his picks.
Bill O'Brien is salivating.
I need that. All right, so that is our show. You good, Billy? Oh, do a number. Turn it on. Let's do a number.
We got Billy's list, too.
Everyone pick a number. Yeah, we got a bunch of it. All right, pick your number.
17.
Oh, shit. 28.
35.
75. 75. The winner, please tweet us. 75.
75 is the number.
75. It's still alive. All right. We have Tony Hawk on Friday, but more importantly, we have fucking football. Football's on Friday.
How did nobody do football? Who's back to the week football?
Because it's not back yet.
Okay.
It's about to be back. Also, football's back. Love you guys. Billy, do you have a fun fact?
Oh, fuck it. I do. Oh, shit. No, okay. Octopuses can open jars.
Oh, my God.
I had a better fact.
Oh, my God.
I had a better fact, but
is
I
that
forgot
true?
it. Yeah, octopuses can open jars.
That is a fun fact. I'll give it to you.
No, I have another one. I forgot it, though.
Kane is in the building.
To find you, shine away. I'll be coming for you.